Baby Book Club, yeah. Baby Book Club, yeah.
Welcome to the Baby Bowl Club, where there are no stupid questions, just expensive ones. So this is an old friend of mine, Jeramie Crawford. He's a musician from the DFW area that I played with for a really long time, and it's been a really long time since we played, right?
We are
First of all,
old.
there's a new tradition. You're going to be the first one to experience it.
Okay.
I'm passing you the bowl.
Ah, nice. I need a bowl.
Now you can't keep the bowl because we only got one for now. But at some point, we're going to get more bowls made for everybody who comes on. And I'll make sure I get you your bowl because you are the inauguratory. Inauguratory? Is that the right word?
I need more bulls in my life.
So, keep the bowl.
Bear keeps rearing its head in my life. Even
I
when the bulls are
know.
supposed to
For
be.
all of us at this point, right? The bear's kicking our ass. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to the Baby Bull Club, Jared.
Cool.
It's good to have you here, man, and it's good to see you just in general. It's been a little while. So I thought we'd talk about a little bit about just kind of where we've been and where we've come. And I wrote this real quick, just thinking about it. And I figured rather than try to memorize it, I just read it off real quick because it's funny. We used to worry about things like, how many drummers are we going to need to try out before finding a replacement? Because this is bonkers. Or even better, how the heck are we going to get everyone home since that crazy ex-girlfriend from the other band flattened every tire in the parking lot at the Haters gig in Dallas? How the hell are we going to get everyone home? And it was a lot of people and a lot of cars and a lot of flats, right? They probably hadn't thought about that one in a while.
I have not.
Yeah.
God.
I was thinking about what is the most amusing and embarrassing thing that I could come up with for us to talk about, and I thought that was pretty amusing.
These are the stories that music career pay you more than it ever pays you in money.
Yeah, you get to keep them long after it's all over.
They cash in.
Anyway, but now we're thinking about whether the Fed chair is going to say one sentence too many, or worrying about the proper way to balance an IRA and things like that. So it's been a long journey, and but one of the funny things that I was thinking about is there are definitely some similarities between like throwing out a freshly written new song and having everybody dancing and enjoying it, and watching a put option go from mild trepidation to closing in on like $1,000 a profit. Yeah. There's a very similar excitement that goes on there, and way less people, less hubbub, but at the same time there's still that inner drive that's like yes.
Yeah.
So what says ye about all that?
Yeah, said you. I'm trying to think where my mind's going because I was thinking not too long ago because I was talking to my son. I was in high school and juggling his whole football career and whether to go play college ball and chase the scholarships that are out there or whether not to, and he's in that thing. And it's funny that at 50, I'm in this point of life of going, do I stay on this thing or do I go this way? And what is it? It's funny how that whole those sort of concepts of life and direction just keep presenting again and again. I guess if you're in the mindset of a person who does it, that comes down to that creative brain that we have that just is. The creative brain's funny because it brings you. Along with adventure and content, the amount of discontent it brings is ridiculous, right? Because your brain is just always looking for a new thing. I know some people, getting a job at 20 and retire from it at 60 and they had a great life, and that's cool, and my brain does not afford me that luxury. But no, it's funny, because getting into the whole sort of market thing, there are a lot of weird similarities, just because it's such that weird thing when you go into music, you just come at it with this thing of I'm gonna write these songs, I'm gonna make people happy, and I'm gonna sell records, and I'm gonna go on tour. This is all gonna be there. And then you start getting into it and you start realizing, oh shit, I have to actually learn structure of songs. There's a reason every song you hear on the radio is kind of the same song in the same format and the same two verses and a bridge and a chorus. It's when you just first start off, you're like, I'm going to write a song that doesn't have a chorus, and I'm going to write a song that doesn't rhyme, because that's what everyone does. And then, you get past 19 and you learn that someone's willing to pay you for your music if you do all that shit that they like to listen to, and then you start going, oh, okay, here's the strategy to that, and then you go, oh, there's a whole nother strategy to like promoting myself into it, booking a gig, and oh my God, looking for a new drummer. And you get into this, and it's the same way. You know, you pop onto YouTube and you start watching these cats that are like, oh my God, I just made $3,000 in 30 seconds, and you're like, oh cool, I can do this. And then you start actually taking your adult brain into learning mode and find a strategy or two and pick them, and then you go, oh God, okay, now we've got to like reverse engineer this excitement into learning, and then every step of something you learn turns into like this other road of fuck, do I go this way or do I go that way? And it's really kind of neat. I mean, this probably sounds real stupid listening to, but in the brain as you're going through it, it's like it's just like it's starting another business, it's starting another job, it's starting another hobby. Like it's just all the same shit over and over. So
it really is.
That was a really long-winded way to say that. Yeah, there's comparisons to it to all things. It's just kind of cool how once you get older, you start realizing that all these different phases of life and things you do are really just sort of, you know, rewind and kind of replay. It's all choose your own adventure books. You know what I mean? It's just like, no matter what it is, that's what it is. Right. You know, it kind of, I don't know, I guess maybe that's just the way my brain looks at it.
No, I absolutely, I hear what you're saying 100%. Yeah. I agree with all that. And, you know, I'm sure that's not everybody, right? We have a similar type of creative soul, and that's why we always worked together for so long and always went well. And but you can see how there's a lot of folks out there are living that other life. Which you know, it takes all kinds, right? But, you know, the view is definitely helpful to others. And, you know, also in total agreement, it's like, you know, I've been saying for years, whenever I go after something to learn it and try to absorb it, I always get to this point where I'm like, you know what, man? Like, I should have just kept notes from beginning to end and wrote a book. And I've said that how many times now? Like probably 50. Like how many different things I've learned and done that. Well, Jeramie, I finally did it.
Oh, nah, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. So I said when I started really working with and studying open range breakout and everything else I was studying, I was like, you know, I'm going to start doing an outline and keep an idea of the steps I'm taking to learn this and what it took to have it all make sense and start to work for me. And this is the result of that. This book, I finally did it once in my life, and I think I'm going to continue to do that.
Wait, you're for real?
Yeah, I'm totally for real.
Oh shit, I thought you were messing with me because his name was so close.
No, well, that is my name, Jeramie. Now it is. There's some other guy with a different name out there who's not Joe Hanaya. I don't know anything about him. But yeah, that's the book that I finally did.
That's funny.
After years of saying I was going to do that.
That's wacky. I didn't know this. Wow, that's the coolest damn thing ever. For real?
Yeah. For real.
Well,
there's the Baby Bull Club.
That's
it's right there. You can
that's
see
awesome. I didn't even know about this.
I finally did that thing.
That's right.
And I wish if I had everything I'd studied in this life, I had done this, I would have a shelf of books.
Yeah, volume.
And maybe I'd have made a sandwich or two.
Right.
But these days it's easy to put together a book and get it on Amazon and that whole process. Cool. I did not realize how straightforward that whole process is. But anyway, just to harken back to that whole thing of like, this is what we do. This is we tackle one thing after another, and this is the current one, right? And we've been at this I've been at it for just about a year.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably like ridiculous. You're like, who the F is this guy writing an effing book when he's only been doing this a year? But there's just lots of research and effort went into that. And I'm not going to say like everything in there is like, oh, this is something I've worked with for a decade and I know that. No, it's just, and it doesn't have that tone. The tone is completely like, this is what I've learned, right? And this is the way I think is the most...
So is that what it is? That's sort of like just kind of open beginnings of...
Yeah, it explains the open range breakout technique in a way, and it's really great because it's just a super scaffolding to get up in the morning and be like, go after it this way. I don't know if you've ever messed with the opening range breakout at all, but it's just basically you are looking at the range that the market takes when it first opens up, and you're saying, okay, whether it's the first 5 minutes up to, you know, people generally use up to the first 30 minutes. Yeah. They look at the range that's been hit in that time, and then you wait for the breakout of one side or the other. And when it fully breaks out of one side or the other, there's a high percentage chance that it's going to continue to head in that direction.
Gotcha.
So you either, buy in the stock, or I've just been doing calls and puts depending on which direction it's going. And that's basically it. It goes through that whole thing in detail with all the indicators that you can use to help you see where things are. And I was just showing you that. I wasn't trying to do a whole book review or that. But that's the essence of it. And then in the end, one of the main things I wanted to do was have a little setup that made it real easy to journal specifically for that setup.
Cool.
So it's like to try to get people that habit, because I know I have trouble building that habit.
Yeah.
It's like I'm at the point now where I, will be like, I just opened and closed that trade. This is really where I should be writing stuff out. So I thought if I did that, not only would I be creating a cool thing for other people to use, but also to inspire myself to just get in there and do it.
Well, not only that, I'll tell you the other thing I think sounds cool about it is I know you said who's this guy telling into this for a year writing a book about it, but if the word I'm picking up what you put down, it's kind of cool too, because it's not, I don't know, man, everything that you keep getting fed, whether it's YouTube or online, whatever, is everybody's got their strategy that they came up with and they invented through their glorious life of trading and wealth and all this. So it's kind of cool also that's not, doesn't sound like anyway, that's the angle, that it's more of just like a research project.
Yeah.
Like you did research, and this is research, and I'm compounding the research into something small and absorbable.
Right.
Just to get going, because holy Christ, the range of stuff out there to plow through.
The signal to noise ratio is tough out there, and it's just, and that was one of the things that I have found over time through this year of working on stuff. It's just like it's all over the map. So it was really meant to be a distillation of like, this is the best of what I've found so far, and what I've found that has worked for me for a little bit, that I can say that it's worked. I'm not negative, so there's that, right? So and it's not, I'm not one of those guys that's going to tell you that you're making $300,000 in a morning. I made literally $40 this morning with one option with those exact techniques, and I was happy about it.
I made 30 and I was stoked.
Yeah, so I think this is the real, right? This is a year in, and you're a little bit longer than that, right? You've been doing that. How long have you been?
No, dude, I've been studying and learning and watching and deciding on a strategy and reading failures and watching failures for about probably going on 2 years. Now I've been messing with markets and investing
question.
Yeah, so I've been doing that for about 5 years now. Just like through IRAs and just kind of buying stuff from a Federal account, or heavily investing. I have a broker that I use, or if you want to call it a financial person or whatever, advisor. Right. She handles that. That's kind of where my retirement is, so to say. And I've been doing that for like 5 years. And I talk with her a lot. She's actually been pretty cool. I know half the internet loses their mind when you start talking about financial advisors. Keep your money, put it over here.
Do it yourself.
To me, I don't mind paying her the fee, because I was coming into it blind with no knowledge, and she's been so great that I can call her up on the phone, or even just go to her office and we hang out and we literally just talk about the stock market. We talk about the news. She's like, come in anytime you want to learn something. And so for me, it also gives me a little bit of a kind of a grounded confidence that someone who actually has knowledge of what's going on is handling that money that I'm trying to retire on, you know what I mean? As opposed to me, I realize you can just throw an ETF and be done with it, and I think that's awesome, and everything I've learned is that's probably the way I should have done it, but it's worked out well for me so far. I haven't lost. I constantly lose and go back up, but in the end, I'm up, so cool, you know what I mean? So I'm not, I think there's different ways to take. I'm not somebody who's trying to grab and hang on to every penny and nickel anyway. I think there's some value in letting some of that go, especially if you're able to learn and gain knowledge in the process. She's not really a mentor. We don't really go through trading strategy or anything, but she's definitely a mentor that I can call and go, hey, what the fuck's going on? Like, why is the market going crazy right now? And she's like, well, because of this. And, this is what does it. And I'm just like, oh. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so as far as learning what stock market is, because 5 years ago I was like some of the other people that are like, the stock market's just a scam for rich people to get rich, and it doesn't make any sense, and the whole thing is this made up concept, and So that's where I was. And then once I got in and was like, okay, well, here's the reality. The reality is I've saved up a little money and I can watch it sit there in a bank account doing nothing, or I can put it in this imaginary thing that somebody came up with and maybe turn it into more.
Worse than nothing.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And then
degrading.
when I did that, I was like, okay, well, now if my money's going to be in there, I want to know what it's about. And so I started learning what the market was. And at that point, you realize just how ignorant that concept of the stock market is this made up, non-existing thing that's just a scam of the whole thing. Like, that's such an ignorant concept. And, and as someone I've only, somehow my entire life, I found a way to only work for myself and make things come by through various things. And it's, with that concept of sort of entrepreneurialism, you really realize what the stock market is. You're literally just helping businesses grow. It's really just a fundraiser. And once you realize that, you're like, oh shit, yeah, this is an obvious thing that you want to mess with. But as far as trading goes, and as far as like trying to figure out a day trading strategy and a way to like use the market for income, which I'm not doing yet, but as far as that being, that's what I call my next life. My next life, if all things work out like I want, I'll retire in about 5 years at 55, and that doesn't hinge on day trading, being a successful day trader. Like, I'm going to get to where 5 years I'm out because I can day trade. No, I want to be able to successfully day trade enough to keep me from using my retirement. So that also for me has really dialed back on the timeline, made me way less aggressive, and made me spend more time in trying to learn, because I'm not like, I got to get out of this job and get something that makes money. So I kind of have that leisure, through my business that I have. So I've tried to take advantage of all those things that up to this point put me at that point to get to next life. But yeah, so anyway, as far as that goes, about 2 years learning, flipping strategies, finding the one I like, giving people money to learn from them. But actually starting to make trades has been this year. Like January was when I said, okay, dude, I'm going to actually start paper trading. And that was January. And then in March, I threw money at it. So now I'm trading with money. And in 3 months' time, I have thrown on parameters and brackets and ropes trying to reel myself in, and realized I didn't have near as much self-control as I thought I did.
This is a thing. This is a thing.
Yeah, so long explanation to say that I'm just recently kind of really getting in it. So
yeah, no, that's cool. That's the point. That's most of the people who may see this. This is what they're letting them know they're not alone. And where we've come, and just to see, I think it's helpful to have a realistic outlook at this. At this early point in the game, where we're not there's people that have been here 17 years I've been doing this, or it's just like, no, we're new and we're figuring it out, and there are strategies and things that'll help you push forward, and there's a lot of stuff that'll waste your time as well, and it's just really trying to help distill that a little bit for folks, and just trying to make that a little easier, right? Because I am focused in that way that I am, and I think that is one of the things that we can help bring people. So
100%.
That's kind of why we sit here.
For sure.
Anyway. All right, good. Well, cool. That's all great. And keep going, dude. You've got this. That's so, and that's the place to be. It really is, because, man, people trying to do this under duress, like I do. I read a lot of Reddit and see what people are going through, and it's just like you see that the people who are under heavy duress, who put themselves under heavy duress, they're the ones that fail, and it's just a different feeling. It's just, and I think that emotional foundation is important to have, and you need to be in the right place, because all the revenge trading and all that stuff that gets involved, that you watch it, and you have to keep yourself separated from that. And when you see the folks are just doing this mad, it's so easy for them to be like, I gotta get out of my job, I gotta do this now, I just lost everything that I had put away. And it's a story that is so common that it's frightening. So it's like that alone has made me put so much distance between me and any kind of feeling that I've got to do a thing. No, it's just like you use the proper sizing and don't care. And some days we're going to win $40. And I see it as a total win. It's like, yes, you are winning. You're not losing. We're heading that direction. And I think that's a thing that everybody out there can really take in deeply. If there's one thing that we can offer this early in the game, it's just how serious that mentality is.
Yeah, and I think age perspective is a big part of it too. Because I know I talk to my sons. I got one's 27, one's 17, and I'm trying to. Every time I learn something, I try to share it with them, and I'm trying to instill this whole idea of investing in marketing. My 27-year-old's great. He's got his investments rolling, and he's doing it. But he played with the day stuff and trying to learn strategies, and he's already out. And I was like, cool. And he and we had a discussion about it, and part of that is just that. Well, my youngest one especially, because he'll, Dad, check this guy out, and it's some kid sitting in class and paying $400. Like,
They're all
he's going to show you the next video tomorrow where he lost 7. You know what I mean? And so getting the young folks to separate like online Instagram from real world reality this is going to be old man talk here, but man, I'm really realizing that's a weird pull that the thing has. It's like he's 17, so he's kind of past that bracket of people that fell into social media hardcore, I guess, but they fully embrace the sort of Instagram or Reels or clip version of shit,
Mm-hmm.
So it's still very much that, hey, in 3 minutes I watched this and my God, I've learned a lifetime worth of information. I'm like, and now you have it, dude, And then there's a real disconnect there. It's really weird, actually. It's a little troubling to me, but I know I'll figure it out. But I think the age part of that is a big part of that, because to me it's that duress you're talking about, where people try to do this as like, okay, I'm 30 years old and I've got this teaching job and I fucking hate these kids and I got to get out of this and I gotta get my mansion or my car or whatever, and this is my way to do it. And I think that sort of what exacerbates that whole did I get that right? That whole gambling mentality.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, okay, well look, I can make $3, but if I can make $3, then I can throw 3 times the amount of it, make $9, and now they're scaling before they really know why they're doing it. You know what I mean? And then age lets you know that, hey, there's another side to this. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm not a gambler. And so it's like, as I come into this, every time I take a loss, I'm trying to look and go, okay, why'd you just lose right there? Like, you've been learning the strategy, and I do the momentum strategy, the Ross Cameron, and it's like, you get the strategy. Like, why did you just turn red? This doesn't make any sense. And every single time, I got my own way. I didn't get out. I got hung up in that. Oh my God, it's gonna come back. And it's like, you already know it's not going to stop. Or even if it does, get back in as it comes up. So it's, your brain will inherently get in so much, but at least, whether it's age or experience or just the ability to, or maybe even because I took so much time. When I first started getting into this a couple of years ago and looking into it, I really, instead of chasing who's making money at this, the first thing I realized is that 1% of people are profitable. When I learned that 1% of people who try to day trade are profitable with it, all the alarms went off and went, okay, why? Like, It doesn't make sense that 1% can be awesome and 99 don't. And so I spent like a whole year, like all I did was watch the downfalls of trading. Mm-hmm. I watched people's stories of crashing and burning. Mm-hmm. I watched the people that lost. I listened to the naysayers. I went into everybody that said this shit's a joke. I called Marcy, my financial advisor, who said, you're an idiot if you day trade. Like, I don't want anything to do with that. And she's been trading the market for 40 years, her full-time, gig. She don't want anything to do with day trading. I'm like, well, why? And then I'm starting to, so I went through all that and all of that to figure out, like, just the mentality of it, how hard it is to get out of your own way and to step aside and call it quits and walk away. And it's all the gambler shit, to be fair, you know what I mean? And so I'm literally hearing that Kenny Rogers song in my head, and knowing to fold them, get up, walk away, blah, blah, blah.
Between that and Green Day, every time you hear Green Day,
right.
It doesn't mean the same thing anymore.
No, I know, right? Such not at all. Green Day, super exciting. But anyway, God, it was long. I keep getting winded on this. But yeah, I think that somewhere in there was maybe a life experience that made me look and say that and say, okay, before you even start going down this road, you really need to figure out why everybody fucks it up.
Right.
And then try not to fuck it up.
Right.
And then it's funny because then in January I came in with this idea of, I know why everybody fucks it up. I ain't fucking it up. And then I fucked it up and I'm still fucking it up. And every time. It's just God.
And there's the other, it's not the other side of this, but importantly, especially for the young folks, is that if you're looking at this properly and you're doing this dangerous style of trading, you shouldn't be doing that with all your money.
Right.
Like the money that you should have somewhere between 60 and 80% of what you have amassed, put away.
Right.
And not, it should be split, right, between a high yield savings account and the other chunk should go into long-term stuff, right? ETFs and things that'll produce for a while. And you should be playing these games with a smaller chunk of money, not your whole entire, that is, I've seen that mentality across the board with people that seem to know what they're doing, and I tend to agree, because it's just how, if you take 80% of what you're, even if or more than that, and you're gonna gamble that every day, like that's just, especially early on. Like that's danger zone. I mean, like that's really, you're looking to completely bankrupt yourself and have to start over. And I just don't think that's worth it, especially when you're looking at the odds. Like you said, it's depending on who you believe, somewhere between 1% and 10%. Yeah. To be willing to throw your whole entire nest egg into that is bonkers. And I know that I see it every day on Reddit, at least 3 to 7 a day, of just like, I blew my whole account, what am I going to do? And you see it's $60,000 and you're like, what are you going to do? That should have only been 10 grand. Yeah. And so now you should be like, okay, I'm going to take a little break, build up the kitty a little bit again, and then I'll start over again, and then go back to crazy, right? But just to be a smaller chunk, then it shouldn't be your whole thing of like, I'm going for the gusto. And that's just me personally. It's a game. Yeah. Everybody has their own philosophy about how it should be played, but any younger person that I'm talking to about this, that's basically the philosophy that I'm going to throw at them, that they should probably try to ingest until they feel they know better. And this is back to the same philosophy I had with music, right? They're your fingers. Do what I'm teaching you how to do first. And then once you can do that, and you think you know better, those are your hands, not mine. I can show you what works for my hands, and I can get you to the point where I see how your hands work, and I can get them to do the thing you need to do. But beyond that, change it once you already know how to do it the way you've seen it done correctly a billion times before. Right. Don't make it up right off the bat. Somebody already had to do that 1,000 years ago. Let that guy be in the past. We've all learned from each other, from this gigantic lineage that has gone by. Learn from that first, and then take the ball and do what you got to do with it to help the whole thing evolve forward. But do that first, right? And I think, lots of folks try to draw that.
There's a lot of that comes into age, life, and experience too. Just in the sense that, don't get me wrong, a lot of old people like us have lost everything in gambling and trading and whatever else. But I do think that there's kind of a split between the sort of vocabulary as far as like, what the meaning of volatility is, right? Because, I watch a lot of young dudes on YouTube, and man, they talk about like, the definition of volatility is where you make money. So go in the volatility. And but you've been around long enough, you also realize and respect the fact that volatility is where you lose it too. Right. So you got to really respect that, and I think that sometimes that's hard to respect. I mean, in my own business right now, we're in a state right now, in this small part of construction, but I mean, we're having. It's like I thought my business was. I really grew my business organically. I didn't throw a bunch of money at marketing, so everything came in a sort of organic way of growth, which I thought bulletproofed it. And now this year, it's the slowest year I can remember having in 15 years. You know what I mean? And it's just like that, it's volatility of life, right? Is it just the economy? Man, everybody's pointing fingers to what it is. Water cooler talk with other guys in the industry. A lot of the older guys think it's just simply that people are broke. That's kind of becoming, a lot of other business owners I know that are old timers, have been in the game for a long time. They're like, man, people are just broke. Young people are they're 30 years old with 3 kids and a $2.5 million house with a Tesla and a Range Rover in the driveway, and, they got $60,000 jobs. They're like, how does that work? They can't afford to be remodeling their house. And, everybody's caught up in this whole thing of interest rates. Everybody's freaking out because the interest rates are so high. Okay, anyone who happens to look at this that's older than 35 years old, interest rates are just coming where they got to be for banks to make money. I'm not trying to take up for banks, but this concept of the last 10 years at like 1%, like free money is the way the world's supposed to work. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you know, being like, look in the 80s, man. People bought their houses. Your parents bought their houses at 18%, 20%. You know what I mean? I bought my first house in 98 at, I think it was 8.5%, 9%. Like, so this wacky thing. I mean, even my second house, I bought it 17 years ago. We bought it at 6.5%. We refinanced it for it, and then we went down to 3 and 2 and stayed there. And as soon as we went back to 5, they're like, "Oh my God, the interest rates are so high. We're all gonna." It's like it's why the bank's closed, man. Right. You get down to 1%, they can't make money. It doesn't. Everybody's got to make money, so it's a weird thing. And then you have this thing where we're going to a whole other topic now, but you got this thing where I guess it's all hand in hand. You know. People don't buy things on price tags anymore. Like, nobody buys a house. This house is $500,000. This house is $600,000. So which one do we want? Nobody looks at that. They look at this one's $620 a month and this one's $680 a month. And the problem with that is when that interest rate goes down, the people selling you the house realize interest rates are down. That means the payments are lower. Cool, we can raise the price of the house up, and then the monthly payment comes up. So now the whole market goes up into this crazy, what we're calling unaffordable housing now. It's like, well, why the fuck do you think that happened? Because everybody was borrowing free money and buying things on a monthly payment.
Right.
And because everybody buys on a monthly payment, they go, well, I make $4,000 a month, so I can spend $3,200 on my mortgage payment. And it's like, yeah, you dummy, but it should be $2,500. But because this is down and you're only buying a monthly payment, people selling can raise the price of their house up. And then interest rates go back to something of normal, and everybody freaks out that the economy's going bust. It's like, no, the people lending the money are trying to make some money so they can quit closing their banks. Like, it's a weird thing, and it frustrates me that you have older people that are my age, our age, even older, that are also caught up in this low interest rate thing or high interest rate thing. And I'm like, your whole life it was never 2%. Like, no baby boomers have ever seen 2% interest. Like, they're non-existent. So it's a weird thing to me that I can't really get my head around. I think that's affecting it. I think this war is affecting it more than anything. You know, back before I knew anything about stock market, I had a builder was telling me, look, man, we're in remodeling, and remodeling is like people use their 401ks for that. You know, when their 401k is going up, they'll take money out of their 401k and they'll put it in their house and remodel. And that never made any sense to me until I started learning about stocks and I started investing. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then I started paying attention, and yeah, it happens. I mean, when the stock market starts going down, people quit pulling that money out because it's lower than they want it to be, and there's not theoretically profits in there. Money starts getting back down to the actual dollars they put in, and they want to take those out because now you're on the wrong way. I think that has a lot to do with it. And what's up, homie?
Hello, George.
And me getting in the money talk there, Georgie.
He's like, hey, I see the bull.
So the come on, man, come on. You don't even care. So in November, October, all I kept hearing was this AI bubble's gonna pop. AI bubble's gonna pop. .com again. And I noticed that
such a different thing.
And through the holiday season, which is usually banger for us because everybody's getting their houses fixed up for family, it was dead. It was the deadest holidays I can remember.
Really?
And I was like, oh shit, wait a minute. Everybody's talking about stock market crashing, and everybody's been investing in AI heavily. Went through, nothing ever really happened. The same year-end corrections. January comes through, February comes through. All you hear is Google spending $84 billion trillion in data centers in the sky, and everybody's like, oh shit, they're still working AI stuff. So people kind of started going, okay. Phone starts ringing, and then as soon as the phone starts ringing again, bombs dropped in Iran. And I looked at my wife and I was like, this ain't good. And then the phone stopped. And then when we came into the agreement a month ago, everything started stimulating automatically. Now that's all on the shit for political reasons we're not talking about. And so far it seems okay. Like, people are like, hey, we made the decision to start spending our money again. Let's just keep spending it, and we'll see how long that lasts. But I think all of that coming together is creative. And my point of it is that's all life world volatility, right? And that's just things go up and down. And you've been through it enough that you realize that. So then when you start playing in things like markets, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, volatility is where you make money, but fuck, that's where you lose money. And I think some of, especially the young people I know or that I've seen, or even like I say, talking to my sons, like my youngest one is learning that volatility thing. That's where you make money. And I'm like, yo, tap the brakes, homeboy, because that's where it's where you lose it too. So, you know,
money comes from somewhere.
It's like,
oh man,
yeah, yin and yang. You know, it's like, yeah. Anyway,
cool. Yeah, that's all interesting stuff, certainly. And you know, here we are, right? It all just keeps moving forward. You know, I'm thinking about what you were saying about how people just they're buying to the monthly payment now, and it's like one of the things that really shocks me from when we were young is like, do you ever remember seeing a car ad when we were younger that didn't have the price of the car in it and only had a monthly payment? That's all you see now, whether it's on TV. Dude. Like they're like $640 a month. You're like, what do you mean? For how long? For 2 months?
I just thought about that not so long ago.
You're not going to tell me what it's going to cost? Like, it's just, and this is, that just shows you. And I mean, this is a progression. Like back when, you know, when we were kids, when the dinosaurs were roaming the earth, there was never a car, anything that did not have a price on it. Like, you wanted to know how much that car was going to cost, or else it's only half the data. It's not even half the data.
Level.
It's a small.
Have you noticed the other side of that? It's this much a month, and have you seen the fine print of the really low, real fast thing they say?
What is it?
Like 96 months.
Oh, yeah, right.
God, like Jesus Christ,
right?
Like wow. Yeah. It's
anyway. That's all insane.
No, dude.
And so so be aware of that. Be aware of that. If you see anything that's telling you buy this for this much a month, the first question you need to get answered before you even contemplate it is how many months? What is the price of this thing ultimately? And what's the difference between the price that you're telling me it is if I paid cash and the price if I do your monthly thing? Because those essentially could wind up that you could have bought 2 of them, maybe 2.5. Dude. So just do that. If there's one thing that I get through to all the new money people today, it'd be that. Don't let anybody sell you something based off a monthly payment amount, because it's cuckoo berries. Just be aware that you're generally gonna get scammed if there's not a number on there of how much a thing actually costs.
Dude, I preach to my kids maximum minimum payments.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in maximum minimum payments.
Right.
Don't want 14 payments of $200. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh my God.
Right. All right, man. So let's move on to this next section here for fun.
We're going to clip a lot of this out because you got the long-winded friend on that.
You know, man, I don't. We'll see. It's supposed to be a pod. This form of this. It's supposed to be a podcasty type thing. You're supposed to just be hanging with us, talking about money, learning some things. Maybe you know, it's just supposed to be fun and friendly. I like it. It doesn't really matter how long it is. So that's why I could really care less. I'll bet at least half the people who are going to listen to this, which might be one person, will not have any problem with it being long. You know, the podcasting thing. That's what we're shooting at. So, all right, the trading campfire.
Trading campfire. Trading campfire. Trading campfire.
These are just some questions, and you know the things we've answered most of them with everything we just yacked about. How you get into trading, we already know that. What was the biggest beginner mistake you ever made?
Still making it. I'm still making it. I just put parameters on to try to get myself to quit making it.
And what is it?
And the parameters are kind of working, and they're kind of, I'm learning, becoming a fault into the same thing. Not getting out.
Yeah.
Like straight up. I mean, if we're talking day trading, it's just not exiting.
Yeah.
It's this idea that it was just at 225. And yeah, it's 215 right now, but it's going to be back to 225, and then it's going to push to 250.
Right.
And then it's, 215, and then it's 210, and then it's 205. And I'm going, yeah, but it's going to be up here. Right. And then but dummy, you could have got out at 220. And then when it started coming back, you bought back in at 220. And now, and holding on too long, man. Holding on too long. The parameters I put on myself right now is I allow myself right now to make one trade. So the first thing I'm trying to learn from that is patience. Just sit here and chill with it, and 3 hours go by, and the bell opens, and fold the computer and go to the treadmill because you didn't make a trade that day. Right. That's okay. You don't lose anything. So patience, waiting for the one that actually makes the run you're trying to get. Trying to get my head out of scalping. I'm not here to make 5 cents. I'm here to make $1. So just wait for the one that looks like it's going to make $1. And get the fuck out. So I've got one trade, And matter of fact, I'm not even letting myself scale through the trade. Like if it's going up, I'm not buying more. I've got that one punch and I'm going to ride it to what it is. I'm going to get out. And if it's red or green, cool. That's all I care about. I don't care how much it is. It's red or green. But where that's working against me a little bit, but I'm still sticking to it because I think in the end it'll work. Where it's still giving me a fit sometimes is because I know I can't buy another one.
So I was just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, let's wait for it to come back.
Because see, I have the opposite problem where I'm always setting too tight of a stop loss and getting out too early,
right,
and missing these runs that I could take. But the thing is like I haven't put that one trade a day stipulation on myself, so I know I've got another one if I want one. Right. And so do you feel like that hinders? You're like, I want to hang because damn it, this is my one chance today.
It's day to day, which is the only reason I'm sticking to it. So, because I started to change it. I was like, no, don't change it. Because what I was realizing was there's days that I'll take that trade and I'll jump out and I'm green and I high five myself and it was a great day, right? $2, I don't care. It was green. That's all that matters. Because green, everything's scalable, right? So a $2 trade is a $2,000 trade if you put enough on it, not enough shares. So I'm full of scalability. The other side is, look, the whole point of this is don't lose money. So you know you've only got this one. So just get out and take the even, and we're good, right? We're minimizing losses. And some days that works. I see it go down, and then some days I'm like, man, it's gone too. Like this is just a dip, and I'm gonna wait till the other side of this dip. Right. And the problem is, but because the reason I've decided to leave it in is because I know it's that one trade. I've caught myself in this week, twice this week. I caught myself having that conversation and being able to stop myself because knowing like, no, dude, that's not what we're here for. Mm-hmm. Like, because I will quickly say the reason for the one trade is to get out green or to get out even. Mm-hmm. That's the reason for it. We're not taking losses because we know we can buy another one and come back. No, this is it. This is the move, and you don't want it to be red. And so I'm immediately having that conversation. So as it dips down and it's red, conversation is, okay, it's going to come back. Immediately the conversation is, nope, get out, like minimize the loss. And so I'm clicking out and I'm only taking, $1 or $2 loss. I think I had a $7 the other day instead of fucking 70 that I had 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, because it drops faster than it goes up. Oh, that's true. That's true. Once it starts going, I mean, you're like, here we go. Just keeps on going until the coyote's dead. This is the way it works.
So real quick, this is Baby Bull Club, right? These are all noobs out there. So I realize like we maybe haven't. What is it that you're doing? You're doing something called momentum trading, right? So can you just explain that?
Yeah. Ross Cameron's thing.
He runs a thing called Warrior Trading. Right?
Yeah, and you like it or not, you don't have to, it doesn't matter. I looked at a lot of different strategies and his seemed to make the most sense to me. He's the dude that makes $30,000 in 30 seconds on YouTube. But he's also the guy that'll show you the $120,000 loss on YouTube. That was the first thing I liked about him. He'd show you both sides. That was very cool.
Well, and having taken in a bunch of his content too, it's like, let's not accidentally paint him as that's all he does, because he definitely gives a great overview of the whole entire stock market and everything that goes on with it. And he's not just like this thing, momentum. No, he does. That's his thing. Yeah. But he is very knowledgeable about the whole market and everything that all the periphery. Yeah. And so that's just so you know. Yeah. I've watched a ton of his content.
And if you invest in this program, which is not cheap, but if you invest in it, the first, 30 hours of it isn't even about his strategy. Right. It's literally about, here's what a broker is, here's how it works, here's how the money moves through this, here's how you get paid, here's how they get paid, here's how this works, here's what a stop loss is, here's what the market is to begin with, here's how it started. It's like a history lesson, it's a lesson of what it is. I learned so much about understanding what the market is.
Technical analysis,
charts, all that kind of stuff, man. He goes deep. And eventually he gets into a strategy. But essentially, the strategy is the coolest way he explains it, and I think the part that spoke to me the most was like, if you're trying to buy stocks, you're trying to look at this business and say, okay, I think that over the next 5 years, this business could blow up into this gigantic thing. So I'm going to put some money into it and wait for that to happen, right? And in doing that, you're trying to predict. Really, what you're doing is trying to predict what the world as an economy is going to do, right? It's not just did this business figure something out. It's, are people going to spend money on that product? Are people going to buy that product? Are people going to invest their money in that product? It's a lot of...
But no, yeah, is anybody going to care?
Yeah.
Like with so much of that these days.
It's such a prediction, right?
Yeah.
And so his thing is, let's watch these charts that are showing what the market's doing, and let's find something that's going up, and let's jump on that ride.
Right.
So you're trying to predict what people are going to do in the next 5 minutes, in the next 3 minutes,
Right.
not what they're going to do in the next 5 years. And to me, I was like, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
And man, when you catch a ride, it's exhilarating, dude. But it's a lot of sitting and waiting. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of patience. The other thing, you watch his YouTube videos, and of course, he's going to show you this thing that was awesome that happened. And then you get into it and you realize, you know, you're there from 6 in the morning until 9 in the morning. You're there for 3 hours every morning, and there's 30 seconds of that where you have a play. Mm-hmm. And it's just sitting there doing a whole lot of nothing. You know, I put on this thing and listen to him teach while I'm watching this thing go on.
Right.
But that's kind of what it is. It's not exciting. It's actually extremely boring. I find it extremely exciting. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't. I find it extremely interesting. I don't find it extremely exciting. It's extremely boring.
Right.
But it's extremely
exciting.
Interesting at the same time. Yeah. Just even watching just how it's all going down and why people are into it. And then you start realizing, like, people are into this because it's popular at the moment. You know, you start realizing trends like, oh, this week everybody's trading Chinese stocks for whatever reason that you would normally not want to trade. That's what people are going to.
Right.
And this week it's space shit. Next week it's random shit. And sure enough, you go in there and for like that week or two, everything that goes is in that theme. It's kind of interesting. So you start learning like how much of this is all just human psychology and follow the leader. You know, it really is. It's like what it is. You know,
that's been one of the most surprising things to me.
It's true, isn't it?
I thought it was just going to be so like hard cut numbers that made everything go, and it's so not that.
It's not.
That has its part in it, but it's not anywhere near everything, especially on the retail side of things. On the retail side of things, there's a lot of kookaberries.
Oh yeah.
Just like you just never know what's going to happen, and it has to do with everybody's mood and what's cool, and it's like it's an odd thing to wrap your head around. That's for sure.
It is. It's what makes it all super interesting too. And to me, learning that part is where you really take that leap from the people who don't understand what the stock market is and say it's all just voodoo bullshit made up to understanding, no, these are like actual businesses, and you're just able to invest in a business that's trying to survive and grow in the world. Mm-hmm. Because you realize that this is all human psychology. This is all just free market. This is all just people spending their money places. And it's not just about buying and selling the stocks. Reverse. The momentum trading I'm doing is literally people buying and trading the stocks. That's all it is. It has nothing. Because as Ross will talk about, I don't give a shit about the fundamentals of business. I don't care what the business is. It doesn't matter. It does to some extent if he's trying to figure something out. He may look and see like what that business is and why it's doing it. But more he's like, what kind of news do they put out that's getting people? So that's what it is. It's that emotional charge and that interest that you're getting on. So it is about people playing the investment side, the retail investment side of it.
Well, that whole process there definitely is part of keeping these businesses liquid.
Yeah.
Like everybody's involvement and people showing up and helping push the stock price around and do everything that's done. That's all. That was a big realization for me. Is like we're keeping these businesses liquid, and you look like right now we're making a video for YouTube on an iPhone,
right?
And it's just like neither one of those things would exist without the system.
No.
Now I say that understanding in an alternate reality where the stock market doesn't exist as it is, we may have some other system that would have created these things. But in the system we're in right now, this is the system that we have that helped create these things.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is where you kind of, to some extent, you can start getting into this weird sort of, kind of nationalist love of country thing. In the sense that if you look at what you just said, it's not, I mean, God, I hate to do this. It is so American. Like, because our stock exchange is the stock exchange of the world. Like everybody around the world is trading on our stock exchange. They want to get on our stock exchange. They're making trades from other countries on our exchange, and we can do it on other people's too. But most people aren't interested. Why? Because South Korea right now, their whole thing's collapsing because everybody leveraged their entire thing and took out loans to invest in 2 companies.
Right.
So their stock market is 2 companies. Like, that's crazy. So I think to what you said, I don't know that it's like, you have this weird thing, this American birthday thing, 250 years or whatever, and you look at like these other, this isn't a super like nationalist thing, I'm not trying to say it here, it all comes back to what we were saying, but you've got these societies that have been around for thousands of years and they progressed to whatever they did, and then you had this American society that came around and within 250 years has completely reset the way the entire world acts, reacts, interacts, grows, all of it. Like, it changed everything. And part of the reason it changed everything, like it or not, is the economy we built, that free enterprise part of it. And then when you came in and put in that stock exchange where everybody could be part of that, which I realize it didn't really start out as something everybody could be part of. It kind of was a rich man's game to begin with. But nonetheless, it allowed those rich dudes to throw their money around to each other and help their businesses grow. Mm-hmm. I don't know without that the world is anywhere near where it is as far as advancement goes. I just really don't. And you could say alternate universe, there'd be another way it found itself. I don't know that there is.
Just because talk.
I know.
I realize, like, we're looking at a very specific system and what it did.
Sure.
Could that come up in some other way? Sure. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
That's another thing that we're not talking about. We're talking about this thing that we do see in front of us that do create and are a huge portion of the whole entire financial system, and how all these things that we use every day have just emerged and manifested through that, like it or hate it, and then that just led to the progression of me understanding, well, man, it's just the same way. It's a reflection of humanity. Yeah. There's good, there's bad, there's criminal, there's positive, there's all of humanity is all wrapped up in that too, because it's the system that we've created, right? Yeah. So, and it's like, I think that's, for me personally, I've found that that's the healthiest way to look at it. For me. Sure. Like it's your approach to it. If you care that much about it, then approach it with positivity and love and do what you can to make things good and better with what you're doing. And that's all, and that's the best we can do, because that's the system.
And it's a prerogative thing too, right? You don't like, how NVIDIA does shit, don't give them none.
Exactly.
Like,
right.
Literally,
and that's right. Absolutely. Don't put your dollars where you don't want to put them, right?
Yeah.
You do see a lot of that, the opposite of that on the net specifically, where people saying, who cares about all that? Like, everybody's just getting theirs,
and that's
everybody's,
fair.
and it's just, and I don't, it's a fancy thing. I mostly don't agree with that.
Sure.
Like, I feel like, if things are doing damage, I really don't want to help them be liquid.
Right. For sure.
Let somebody else go help them be liquid. It's just, there are certain things I'm not going to put my money in. And if other people do and they tend to just ignore all that, I understand it. I know where they're coming from. I don't, and that right there, that's personal choice. Yeah. That's up to you. And that's where it becomes the reflection of humanity. Yeah. I don't want it to be that, so I'm not going to act that way towards it. And you're going to act however you want to, and they're going to do whatever they want to in that. And therein it becomes just a big reflection of humanity.
I get weird with that. Like, I don't know if you cut all this out, but I get weird with that, and then I struggle with that a little bit, because there is part of me in being that good dude of the world that doesn't want to support that. There's this other real weird side of me that has this sort of, I guess it's a little more political thing, not blue-red political, but like just existence of how we are in this whole world and society and all that, and that I've really come to believe that, like it or not, your real grasp on freedom is through finances. So, part of me also looks at it as, okay, here's this company over here that's probably doing nefarious shit. But if I have the possibility of getting in there and making a profit off of it too, people are going to profit off of it regardless. Kind of like, which one everybody likes? Is NVIDIA? What's the one that's like watching everybody's shit and everybody's got weird stuff with? Huh? Palantir. So Palantir, right? Like, tons of people got rich on Palantir. Tons of people have made tons of money on Palantir. And tons of people have not, because they haven't morally liked what they did. And part of me struggles with that. I have a little bit of Palantir, not much, but there was a point where I was like, look, man, if this is where I can make money at, and it's going to be made anyway, nobody's going to stop that business from growing. It's not going to happen. Then if I'm able to make some money on it, that helps me reach my freedom point. Because I do kind of believe that, like, you know, I don't know, whatever you want to say about voting and all that kind of horse shit. The only real freedom you have is your ability to spend your way out of a system. I think, you know, the more you can not have to rely on a government program, the more you can not have to rely on, are you going to get a certain tax cut that helps you go? Like, if you can get to the point where you have enough money put over here, or you're making enough money to where that ancillary bullshit that they do to secure their own power doesn't really apply to you anymore. Like, okay, cool, you're going to raise that up and it's going to hit me another $1,000? Fuck you, I got more than $1,000. Take it, do what the fuck you want to do with it. I'm living my freedom. I'm not having to worry about that. In my little brain, I have come to conclude that in the society and world we live in, that's kind of how it works. And right or wrong, and that can be argued, that kind of gets into a weird thing of how I feel. And I still struggle with that, actually. You know, there's companies I just, and on the other hand, I'm like, but if that's a little bit of a shortcut to my freedom. So it's kind of a weird thing. I don't even know why I went into that with you. But,
well, because it's part of it. It's, you know, especially for new people. Like, this is stuff they're going to be thinking about.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you know, I know I still wrestle with lots of this stuff because some of the people that I watch all the time and learn from, they're very much on that trip of just like, you know, man, everybody's just getting theirs and doing what they got to do and moving forward. And it's just another stock in the end. And, you know, in every company, these are big, giant companies.
Yeah.
It's not like one evil dude.
Nah, there's a
and
lot of good people.
There's going to be thousands of people that are getting fed from that company. There's going to be, you know, and the other thing that you said is like they're going to do what they're going to do anyway. Like, it's just it's a free country, and you know, in a way, another debate that we can have some other time. But it's just like they're, you know, they made a company, they're doing a thing. People, there are too many facets to it to just try to make a hard and fast good and bad, good and bad. It's like everything, just like the stock market. You know, and I know there are things, and I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, and I can't right now, but there are good things that Palantir is involved with that are positive for humanity. So it's like, you know, I personally, that one is just too weird for me. Like, it's just that Peter Thiel is just out there, and I don't know what I think about all this craziness, and I just tend to shy away from it, and it's like, I just steer away on pure caution. It's not 100% judgment. I'm not like, oh, you got Palantir. It's not that at all.
No.
It's just purely like, I don't know. I'll go put some more money in Jersey Mike's this week.
Man, besides that, like, nobody's going to be perfect, and the reality is, I truly do believe that there is, I don't know, I'm not to get all woo-woo, but there's a certain amount of karmic thing, whether it's just you create your way or not, but nothing's going to get that big being 100% nefarious. It's just not going to happen. Like, there's got to be good shit to get that fucking big. Like, come on, man.
Right now, it's a little suspect, but the thing is there are ways that gets ironed out that aren't there, aren't in the financial market side of things. Like, what we're doing is just, you know, helping people with their fundraising. It's just like, it's a different. We could be on this all day, so let's just move on. Make your own choices. That's the big lesson here, right? It's like, do your due diligence and learn about whatever it is that you're dealing with, if this is important to you, and make your own decisions. And that's your vote into the whole system. And don't let anybody take that away from you. And, you know, use it wisely.
If we ever do this again, we'll have to do it while we smoke a cigar, because that will calm down my ADHD a little bit.
Right.
I won't go off on these stupid advice.
Man, trading campfire really went on long. I thought this was going to be like 10 minutes.
No, you had the wrong idiot in here for that.
Okay. What's one thing that you believed after 6 months of trading that you no longer believe today? I guess we kind of touched on a lot of that too.
Yeah, but in one sentence, that I don't have the self-control that I thought I had reached.
That's a good one. That's
really what it is.
It's a good one.
I mean, dude, my number one takeaway of all this, and what I keep telling my kids is, look, man, learn this shit at some point, but when you get in it, do all you can to learn self-control.
Yeah.
Because I don't care how many conversations I have, I don't care how many parameters I have, I don't care how many ropes I have tied around my wrist when I sit down every day. Mm-hmm. There's something that happens up here, dude, that just like, it doesn't listen. Fucking, it doesn't listen. And you just let it all go. And then suddenly you have to hope you can come back in with that conversation that says, yo, like, no, stop, get out, quit. And it's wild, man. Self-control is wild. I'm not really an addictive person. My wife says that I'm a very obsessive person.
Right. Well, those are
whether
different
it's
things. Yeah.
whether it's business or fitness or learning how to brew beer or whatever, I like to be really good at shit. That's my thing. It's not obsession. If I do something, I want to be good at it, and I don't think you get good without going deep into it. That's just my opinion.
You
right?
know,
Practice
I
makes
wholeheartedly
perfect. and
agree
that's
with
what
you
that
on
is.
this one.
Yeah, and so I don't think
Perfect
it's obsession.
practice
you
makes
know,
perfect, Jeramie.
yeah. She's a therapist though, and they have different,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
parameters that their
Oh, I'm
definitions
sure.
fall into.
No
You know,
doubt.
and I love her for it, but it's not obsession. It's how you get good at shit.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's the biggest thing that I've learned through it is that self-control is just, man, it's something that you just, I think most people are just not equipped with it.
Right.
They're just not, you're not inherently equipped with self-control. And where
And
I was
also
going,
not in tune with it the way you think you might
Yeah.
be where you're at.
Yeah.
A reasonable self-assessment is not within the parameters for.
Yeah. So that's what I was trying to say. I don't really have an addictive personality though. Like, you know, I had a 35-year crazy drinking career and then just pretty much quit one day. Like, it was not it never got me. Anything I've ever done like that caused addiction to people, I've never gotten that addiction bug. Nothing's ever grabbed me. I could just quit anything I ever wanted. It really wasn't that big a deal. So I never really understood the whole addiction thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now through this, it's funny. This gave me a different respect for what addiction is, I think.
Right.
Not that this is an addiction, but when I'm in there and I have this complete inability to completely control what I had a conversation with myself to the desk that I wasn't going to do, how
Right.
quickly that can just go out.
Right.
It kind of made me go, oh wow, like this thing up here it's really fucked up and it goes off the rails real fast. Like, I could only imagine what addictive personalities are like. You know what I mean? It's wild. It's wild. So
That's a true. Yeah, and that's absolutely true. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's something worth spending time on.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely. If you could go back and talk to yourself on day one, what would you say? What would be the most important thing that you could tell yourself?
on day one of starting.
Yeah, trading. Like you're about to shooey, George.
You know what? It's the exact same thing I told myself.
Right.
It was that self-control.
Yeah,
Not
that
literally
makes
the
sense.
first day I sat down, that was what it was, because I built my whole thing going into what kills people in this, and that's what it always comes down to, is self-control. And so I had that conversation and it didn't matter.
Right.
It just didn't matter.
I get it, man. All right, so we're just about done with our first page of planning here.
Oh wow.
So the last question on this portion, is what's something going on in the markets right now that you find interesting / annoying / worthy of telling the baby bulls about?
Going on in the market.
Yeah, like what's just something current? Like what's going on currently that you're like,
Okay, yeah, what I find most interesting, this is something I find super interesting, and a lot of it coming because I'm even 5 years into following the market, learning about it on YouTube. And it's hard for me to get my head around, but is the way the market has performed and run through this war. I have a very consistent investment strategy that I've had for the past 5 years, and it was a very aggressive one, trying to come from never saved a penny to trying to get to an early retirement. And I've been super consistent and I've been super good about it. This year I've dialed back that investing a lot because my business has taken a dip, and a lot of that going hand in hand with the war. The interesting part of that is I'm still on my achievement goals through my main account, because through this war, it's gone nuts. Like, it's made war started, lost 20% like that, gained that and another whatever percent back. Like, it gained, I swear it gained more in the last 6 months than it's gained in any year previous. Like, could be wrong about that, but it seems like it, you know what I mean? Trying to get my head around and understand how that works. And it's been interesting watching Trump kind of manipulate, like, you know, have some resolve on a Friday, and then things kind of chill and come into Monday, and then fuck off going this route, and then strategy in halfway through the week, and then it drops again, and then brings it back up. And so watching the ability of politicians to be able to sort of manipulate the market that way has been really kind of interesting and cool at the same time. It's also very curious that they don't positively manipulate it more often. If you can do it in the throes of this crazy shit, why don't you just do it all the time? So that's the first real interesting thing to me.
It's definitely been strange.
You know what I mean? And then now, here in the last, it's not a crash by any means, but over the last few weeks, there's definitely more red than green, at least in my account. So it went up to this sky high thing where I'm freaking out, going, holy shit, I haven't put any money in and I'm above my goal. And now it's oh shit, that's about 10% less than my goal. It's so I don't really know. So right now, currently, I think it just all revolves around this sort of war and this whole world kind of strategy and manipulation of money. And God, that's been rad. I'm fascinated with that. I don't really know if that's necessarily markets, but looking at the theoretical exchange and flow of kind of bricks having an opportunity to pick up momentum there for a minute and really fuck up petrodollars, and then your brain goes, oh fuck, what does that mean? And then Bitcoin came into play as a national movement, governmental movement, and then this whole concept of China was in this moment for a minute to be able to manipulate and accumulate even more Swiss gold and set the price on that to fuck everything up. None of that ever came to fruition, but it was all in play, and that was super interesting to watch. It was scary as shit, but interesting nonetheless. So yeah, I don't know, man. I think right now, more than any sort of sector, because my brain fries on sectors and trying to figure out what each sector is doing. I have no clue. Yeah, just watching that whole thing in play and kind of reaction, and like I say, trying to follow my business, which I think is connected to that in some weird way. It's interesting, man, because the only time in my adult life that I was really going through war, which was 20 years of Iraq or whatever, but after the initial part of that just kind of became this sort of part of everyone's life that nobody paid attention to, and I don't think you have to fuck with anything. You know what I mean? It was just
media didn't work the way it does today. It was a very different thing back then, and then also it's just it seemed a little more. It seemed like it was less to manipulate the markets like it is today. A lot of it's just you said, we have this schedule every week.
And I'm sure that's just because we're paying attention now.
And I was going to say that too. I certainly did not know anything about the markets back then, and how that was interlaced with all that. I couldn't tell you the first.
And then of course with YouTube, you get these real smart people explaining it all for you in a way that the news was never going to. You can start to watch Andre shit.
So it's just a very different beast right now. And so it's everything is definitely. If you
watch that dude, Andre Jit will melt your brain and explain the shit that's going on.
Who is it?
Andre Jit. He's awesome. But the way he explains things and lays it out, it's whoa, oh my god, it's weird. But there's a bunch of those guys, what I mean? They're looking at it from different angles and telling you, whereas the news is never going to tell you the angles. They're just going to tell you the script. And so I think that probably has a lot to do with it too. It's us paying attention, and also it's other smart people paying attention and having a vehicle to let you know about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would say that's been the most interesting thing for me.
Yeah, taco trading is definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Look up taco trading if you don't know what that is, because I've definitely made some money taco trading.
Wow.
More than I want to admit to.
Weird.
It's worked better than I ever want to. We'll get into that some other time. But it's strange.
Yeah,
it's very, and you come to realize that throughout the life of the market, there have been different things that were the main influencers on the market that come from all different angles. And right now we've just got this set that we're dealing with, and that could change.
Absolutely.
It's all these little things, right, that start to add up this big giant equation that's just it's insane. And that's one of the things that's admittedly it's incredibly interesting about it all. I'm reading Central Banking 101 right now.
Oh shit.
And that book is, man, when I'm done with it, I'll toss it to you if you have any interest in it, but it's one of those mind benders where you're like, what?
Yeah.
That's how that works? They can do that? And you realize it's just, It's a system.
It's a system,
that
It's a system.
there are people that have more control of it than we do.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah,
certainly, and it's wild. The more you learn about it, and once again, this is like all peripheral to markets, right? But the more you study it and want to understand it, you can't really understand it without understanding these peripheral things that are going on.
Yeah, but the cool part is as much as that is all able to be manipulated, or whether it's just that, the market and the economy and the business and all that stuff just all sort of are intertwined, even the powers that be that have the ability to kind of fuck with it to their benefit, you have the full opportunity to learn as much about that as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you can literally make the same moves off of it that they do.
Right, absolutely.
That's the interesting part of it to me. I think Keenan was real big on that. Keenan Grace is real big on that. He goes, yeah, it's rigged. Sure, but
Now
do what they do.
And yeah, right.
Like, okay.
Like, follow the money.
Like,
This
okay, fine. It's rigged for rich people and rich, but you
Right.
can do what the rich people are doing now. Like,
well, the thing is like it's half of my life has been computers and IT.
Yeah.
So complex systems are not a stranger to me.
Right.
I've developed them and worked on them and kept them alive. And complex systems, they need manipulating to keep them going, to keep them flowing, to keep them doing whatever they're doing. It'd be I think a lot of us have this idea in our head. It's like, oh, there's just like this natural osmosis thing that's going on. It's just the way things happen. And you're like, well, no, man, it's a complex system.
Yeah.
Like, it'll fall on its face.
Mm-hmm.
They all do. And it's like they need nurturing to keep the flow going of whether it's data or money or whatever it is that they do. All systems need something to keep them, to keep nurturing them into doing what they do.
Absolutely.
Things collapse, right? Things collapse in nature. Systems collapse in nature all the time, and this is a system that we've made all together and are trying to keep on its feet, so we can all keep doing what we're doing and keep everything moving forward. And I understand that part. I do understand in a much deeper way than I ever have before, and that gives me some sanity. So, and I hear absolutely, because the more we know about it, the more we can participate in what the hell's going on, in the way it's beneficial.
And I'll be honest with you, man. I know it frustrates people that things can be manipulated, but for me, I think I have a different way to look at it. In that, I'm kind of glad because that in the end means that there's corrective methods in place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because if it could be manipulated, then you can also correct a problem. And I think that kind of shows. I mean, you're always going to have nefarious characters, but the reality is
that exposes
anyone who manipulated a market. They're trying to manipulate it for positivity. Growth is positivity, whether it's retail trader, whether it's big guys. So if they're trying to manipulate, if you want, to make it grow, like that still gives you the opportunity as retail and low end guy to benefit from that.
Right.
Or if things are crashing and going crazy and they can manipulate and get it out of that hole, well, that's a corrective measure. And there's nothing inherently wrong with corrective measures, you know what I mean? And
you're not making any money if it falls on its face.
no, and the reality is it's like, it's kind of like that Korea thing right now where everybody's on the verge of like really a problematic thing, the way I've seen it explained, because everybody's, leveraged and borrowed into two companies, and it was it just makes me laugh every time I hear that. But like here, we've got fucking thousands of companies on the stock market. I mean, just the S&P alone is 500 fucking companies. Like, okay, so if a couple of those are being nefarious, there's still 400 or something there that's trying to do business as usual.
I think there's over 8K total, right?
Yeah, so somewhere in there, even if markets could be manipulated, all those businesses are, at the end of the day, they're all there to grow and make money. So somewhere in there's going to be corrective measures and balance. Just the sheer numbers of that would only make sense. I understand that, like, what is it? Some stupid number like 20 or 40% of the S&P 500 right now is on the shoulders of 3 companies or something stupid like that. Yeah, that's wild, but our whole country's like that. Like 70%, I think it is, of our economy is small businesses like me. But everybody can just tell you Target, Walmart, and AMC because that's the 3 that put the most money in your face to know. But they're actually, all the big conglomerate corporations that everybody gets pissed off about is actually a pretty small part of our economy. Right. Which is a weird thing, at least if what they say the numbers are real. 70% of it is actually small businesses. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know, all that I don't even know what I'm trying to say by that, but it's just all interesting. And somewhere in there, it seems like, yeah, there's a lot of ability for manipulation, but at the end of the day, there's also a lot of place for self-correction, I think.
Right.
Or at least that's the lane I'm gonna walk in.
And complex systems are always going to do unexpected things.
Yeah, for sure.
And everything's intentionally and unintentionally pushing the boundaries, and that's just the nature of complex systems.
Yeah,
I think that's an acceptance of that is probably healthy for all of us.
Sure. Yeah, I would think so.
All right. Well, the next section, this is should be quicker. No, to be sorry for. This is what we're here for. There's a guy driving a truck right now who's so happy to hang out with us because he just got his first bra, and he's like, these jokers are going to help
I
me.
Sat through hours and hours of these conversations in traffic.
And then we just hope to find that one guy. If you're out there, thank you for paying attention to this. We put some effort in. Okay, Bull Busters. I'm sorry, it's not Bull. It's not Bull Busters.
Bull Busters! Bull Busters!
Because it busts your balls a little bit in three parts.
For sure.
Okay, so here's your beginner quiz. Now, this is not to quiz you. This is just to make things fun and have them try to learn a few things and know what they need to look up after we get out of here. I don't think you'll have too much trouble with these, but there's a gazillion things. I just tried to make it fun. What does RSI stand for, and what does it actually measure?
Fuck. Boy, right off to a good start. RSI. Oh, come on, man. I don't know.
It was supposed to be challenging. It's okay. Relative strength index, right?
There you go. Okay.
I don't have the answer here.
Okay.
I just relative strength
I
index,
know the
and
letters.
it basically tells it's what between 0 and 100, right?
Yep.
And it's just a little thing that's following where the strength is. Are we kind of pointed up, or are we pointed down, and how hard is the gas pedal being pressed, right? If we're up towards 100, it's being pressed really hard upwards, right?
Yeah.
And if it's down towards 0, we're heading downward very hard, right? It's kind of like a little
hot market,
momentum
cold market
machine. So yeah, if you haven't played around with RSI yet, take a look at that because it's a good indicator. You're going to use it all the time,
especially in options, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with that OML.
Yeah.
Nah. I mean, there's a lot of talk of hot markets and cold markets, which is kind of a similar concept.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely.
Some days you go in there and there's just 6 different stocks will take $4 runs. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, more than that, but I mean like low cap, and then other ones you're just like, well, there's no trades today.
Right. The thing is, some of these indicators are just another way of looking at those same few pieces of data.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's all the same few things. So it's anyway. So check that one out. That one's, I find RSI very beneficial, especially when getting involved in options trading the past few months. It's very helpful. It's that quick look of like, where is this headed? Is this about to be done? Because if that's sitting way up there at 80, and I'm no, I'm not going that direction. I need to That's Keenan Grace. He's one of the ones who's always preaching the RSI.
That's where I know RSI from.
He's just like, I've been bitten too many times that when I didn't pay attention to RSI, so that really kind of got me zeroed in on that a little bit. This is an easy one you'll get very simply, but it'll be very helpful to those people out there. What is the difference between investing and trading?
All right. So this is what I talked about earlier about trying to predict that future thing, right? That short term versus long term. So investing, you're trying to take your money and theoretically over long term make it grow. I mean, basically that's it, right? Investing is taking your money and making it grow and make your money work for you. Trading is the same hope, but doing it in a more smaller time frame.
For me, that was once again, I don't have answers here, but to me, it's time.
Yeah, time.
Time is the one thing. Investing is like, I am throwing this money in here, and I want to see it grow, and I don't want to touch that until I'm old.
Yeah,
and it's like
investing. I wish I would have done at 20.
You and me both, dude.
Oh my God.
I'm so sick of that. I'm going to be honest right now. That's why we're here. It's so that I can talk to all the younger me's out there and go, dude, don't screw up like I did. Start early. I was like I was the little artist guy, musician dude who was like, oh, F money, F all that, F that system. I'm just making music, man. I'm making people happy. And it's like, that's cool. Like, I like those ideas. But the bottom line is like, you need money to do anything. In this current system that we live in, you need money to do anything, to have power, to do anything that you want to do. And if you're a creative soul, the more that you have available to you, the more options you have available to you to do creative things, right? You don't want to do creative things in a little box. You want to do creative things across the whole planet in any way that you feel like you want to. So it's about, there are only a few things that you really need to worry about in life, and finances are sadly one of them. And, you know, and I say sadly just kind of as a play off my younger self, but this is why we're here. It's because
you just took your 20s
I know, dude.
and went, I'm not going to have a car payment
I know.
in
I
my
know.
20s, but I'm going to put a car payment worth of money that I have into ETF,
Yeah,
the
dude.
SP 500, and then just drive a cash shit car. Nobody cares. Girls don't go, fuck about your car, bro. And just do that through your 20s. You could literally just stop there and then let that keep going. And
I mean, I wouldn't have had
done.
to change my life much at all.
No.
I was in IT early on. I was making sick money, and I was blowing it on having a good time with my friends. And it's like, that's fine. I could have done half of that.
Oh, yeah.
And my life would be very different right now. Not that it's bad, but it could be very, very different than it is right now. So that's, don't have that regret. Talk to us, write notes down, write comments, get in touch with us. However, if you need to talk about it, if you want pointers from moving forward, we'll keep putting out videos. But that's one of the main reasons.
Well, this is the cool part. So when we were young, the old guys also save your money. Save your money.
This is my thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
save your money. Save
You're
your
like,
money.
for
And
what?
Like, for what?
For what?
Fuck saving money. It
Right.
just sits there, and I put $5 a year, and it's still $5.
It's $5.08.
Whereas-
You're like, I really need that 8 cents.
Us
right?
old guys now look at young guys and go, dude, invest your money, invest your money.
Right.
And now you have a calculator on your phone
And
that
there's-
can show you what that does.
Yes.
And it's like,
That's
that shit would
literally-
have blown my mind.
This is literally my second book.
Yeah.
I'm writing a money book for kids that don't come from money.
dude.
Because it's just the conversations that, as I've gotten older and truly learned about this, there are some key things that were never said to me that had they been said, everything would have been different. But it wasn't anybody's fault because they just didn't know. I grew up in poverty, and everybody, you know, it was just what they heard. This is how you have a good life, you save, right? But they couldn't tell me why. They couldn't tell me what to do with it. They couldn't tell me what the ultimate result was. Like, okay, so I have money when I'm 40 for when the pipes break or something. You're like, and when you're 20 and you're living a rocker lifestyle, you could care less about the pipes when you're 40.
Oh, yeah.
And not that that's, at this point, I realize that that's a valid argument.
It is,
as well.
it
That's a
is.
hard thing to get into a child. But if you tell a young guy, this is how you buy your freedom. You want your money to make money for you. You don't want to just keep making money doing hard things and with time that you only have a limited amount of to get your money. If you do that, you're going to run out of time, but you're still going to need money. And you can make your money work for you. You can actually make those things make the thing that they are. And if you do that, that changes the whole game. And that really is the essence. That was never said to me in that way.
Have you seen George Camel?
I have not.
George Camel's a great guy on YouTube. He's part of the whole Ramsey thing, which I've got my own issues with that. But no, I mean, obviously they teach a lot of amazing stuff. But he's in that system. But he has this really cool way of putting it out there.
Right.
It's much younger than Dave Ramsey. But he does these great videos, man, where he goes and finds these 20-year-olds on the street. And he's like, you have a car payment? They're like, yeah, I do. You got any savings or investments? No, I don't. What's your car payment? And it's $425 a month. And he's like, dude, and he literally does it right there. It's the power of that stupid phone. He goes, $425 a month times this times when you want to retire. He's cool. That's what your car payment really cost you. And it's like $2.5 million. He's like, you go get your $4,000 Honda and drive that thing, the wheels fall off. When you're 60, you can get Maseratis and not even care.
Right.
Like, it's literally that. Like that, it's crazy. He does it all the time, and your mind just starts melting because you just put yourself at, you're, I think I was 19 when I financed my first truck, and I'm just like, my mind just starts going, like, why didn't I know? I knew enough to pay my truck off early, but I didn't know enough to like put that money in. You know what I mean? It was just like, oh my god. But now we have those tools. Now you can show young people like that, like fuck sake.
Well, and the thing is too, like when we were younger, like going to buy a stock. Like that was very different.
You couldn't do it.
Like you had to go. You were wasting $200 just to get in and get out. Like, and that's before you've even done anything.
No,
you know what I mean. So it's like, and then you had to actually go down to a physical broker and go talk to them and do the thing. And now it's just like you literally can be set up in 5 minutes online on your phone with Robinhood in literally a few minutes. You could have invested money in just moments.
Well, you and young people can. Because this old analog dude here, it took me months just to figure out how to sign in this ass thing. That's still my problem.
Well,
my hotkeys don't even work. I'm going to use my keyboard because I can't figure out how to make my button work because it quit again, and I'm too frustrated to even figure out.
Bring that thing over here. We'll get it straight. We'll get it straight. I'll help you with that.
Your stupid computer.
I know. See, I love computers.
I wish I could call
But this morning, I had an episode in there where I was literally like, I'm Jeramie. I hate you, computer. I'm so fucking sick of your shit.
I hate it.
I've always been sympathetic to everyone that doesn't have my patience with that. Since day one, I've had, because I was jacking with a Commodore 64 when I was 12 years old. How much frustration that I got through early on. It was like, okay, well, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
I have to learn how to sit back and not give a crap. And it was a big lesson that I went through from about 12 to 15 that, you can't take away from me no matter what happens. But it was a huge part of my life of just learning how to be like, I can't get upset about this, or else I will never do the things I'm trying to do. I will just be pissed off all the time, and that's not no way to live.
Right.
So it's like, but I totally understand when people haven't had to do that because they didn't have that love of that thing that made them have to do that. So it's like I completely understand, and I can feel everyone's frustration with technical stuff. I get it. I get it. The fight is real. So and if we can help get through to those people as well, that's much. But it really is. I'm here for the young people to try to not make the mistakes that we made, and if we can do that for just 2 kids, I will feel like this is worth it. It's just like I don't even need to see the result. It's just knowing in my heart that it probably exists out there somewhere. Anyway, so that was where we got from RSI and investment trading. Yeah, we have a good tendency to fall off. Okay, here's a fun one: market order or limit order?
Well, everything I do is limit. That's because I'm only doing pre-market trading.
Oh, right.
So because of that, everything I do is limit.
Gotcha.
That's all it's allowed.
Right.
That's all it's allowed.
Okay.
So
I use them both. It depends on what,
Yeah.
and you can go down this rabbit hole. They're both useful in their places, right? If you absolutely need to get out, regardless of what's going on, or if you absolutely need in, regardless of what's going on, you get a market order, right?
Yeah.
But a market order, there's no guarantee of what your price is going to be. When that falls in line in the queue and you get there, whatever that's costing at that time or whatever the value is for you to sell, that's what you're going to get it at. And most of the time, if you're dealing with anything that's highly liquid, right? I mostly do my options trading on SPY or really huge things like SpaceX and stuff like that, where I know my puts are going to kill. But it's like, make sure that it's very liquid what you're working with if you're going to be doing market orders. Otherwise, you can come out with insane differences in what, hey, I thought I was selling this for $3 and I just sold it for $1.10.
I mean, it happens on limits too. I mean, especially in momentum, because things are moving, and so it all.
Well, but a limit order can only move in your favor, though. A limit order can't move not in your favor.
Well, you're right, but where it affects you really in momentum is that, you can only sell out of a position if there's a buyer to buy your position. Right? There's no way there at that moment to buy it.
It might pass you.
Yeah, it'll pass you. So you can do that. Today, for instance, I was trying to get in, and for whatever reason, my order didn't fill. And I'm looking at it, and I'm kind of freaked out. And by the time it did, it had already ran up another $1. So I missed that $1 climb. And then I had one the other day where I was trying to sell, and I couldn't fucking sell. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And that was interesting left. That was one. The momentum, it came down for a dip, and I was waiting for it. I was hung in. Let's wait for it to hug. So interestingly enough, as it came out, the interest in that stock cooled off. So the volume went way down. And then finally I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to sell and get out of it and take the loss. And I hit sell, and it stood there for like 20 minutes before I could get rid of it. I had to cancel it and try again and cancel it, try it again, and keep resetting where
what
it's
was the instrument? What
I don't remember what the stock was, some little small cap stock.
Gotcha.
But I couldn't get rid of it because the volume had fallen off so much. There was somebody to buy it.
Right.
It was just like it just wouldn't. I couldn't sell it.
And that's one of the things that all these mechanical systems make seem like, it's just this. Just press the button. No, man, it's not.
Now sit back and watch, because the other day I opened up my Weeble and I still had one open.
Oh shit!
Like that, I was like, I sold that. I know I did.
Right.
Nah. It's like, what the fuck? So yeah, it's wild.
Right. Yeah, that's a trip. Yeah. So if you don't know, if you're going to play any games like these, make sure that when you're going to select the market, stop, limit, all those choices, understand what they are. Don't just push through it and try to just make it happen because you want to buy this stock. Or just go before you use, if you're paper trading, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But if you're using any money at all, make sure that you fully understand the implications of all the different order types.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of subtlety there. It's not very obvious, and sometimes the little eye that you roll over gives you some, it gives you some information, and that's real good information. But there's usually more to it than that.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of little sticky situations you can get yourself into. So really understanding what you're doing and understanding the difference between a market and a limit order it's one of the most important things that you could do first. So that's my big.
Yeah.
So that's probably number 2
100%.
of my things that I really
make
do
sure
this.
you should set
Do that.
right.
Don't take that one as a joke. Like, that's
real.
hardcore because, it's very important.
No, that's not
okay. Would you rather own one great company or 20 mediocre ones?
Man. Can I answer twice?
See that this is not a it's not a yes or no.
In theory, 20 lesser ones.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea of safety in numbers. That's ETF buying, right?
The big one is risky.
On the other
Even
hand,
if it is good, you just never know.
On the other hand, there is that, getting on a video for $3 a pop.
And see, that's the thing. There's so much to this, right? Like, okay, am I
Getting on Apple at $3 a share.
Am I getting Google for $10?
Yeah.
Like, the chances of them.
So
Right,
that's a
that's a
sticky
different
one. But I think in generally speaking,
a
give me
mediocre.
multiple.
That's quite a continuum there.
Yeah.
That's
In general, go for the play, go for the ETF. Yeah, but I think
that's a really good, solid company with good fundamentals, but they're still a penny stock.
Yeah.
That could be considered a mediocre.
Yeah, that's
A mediocre.
I mean, that's
mediocre
true.
company.
That's true.
And then you have all the way the other end of that,
Yeah.
right? Your mid cap stocks of companies that are
Right.
somewhat well known. Their fundamentals are pretty strong. Maybe they're in debt a little bit, but it's looking like it's probably going to go away, and they'll probably go positive next year. That could also be considered a mediocre stock, but that could wind up paying just as much as Google does in the end.
Right.
So it's kind of a loaded question.
It is weird, but I think in theory, the reality is that your best bet as far as investment goes is go with the group. Go with ETF.
Yeah, I think that's...
You got much less chance of losing if you're splitting your money between 500 companies than if you're splitting it with one.
And that's the thing, right?
Or giving it to one.
You're kind of taking a broad spectrum for your growth.
Yeah, 100%.
But also ensuring that there is growth.
Yeah, 100%.
And not just
Right.
one thing. You're like, hope it don't work out. I mean,
So you know what? That was fun to say 2 answers, but the real answer is absolutely.
Yeah, right. Well, it depends on how much information you have about those.
Of course,
right? So in the end, and that's the point of the question. Like, know your specifics about what you're dealing with, right? Because this is an important thing. All right. Part 2 of Ball Busters is rapid fire.
Gotcha.
This is just as quick as you can answer.
I'll quit talking.
No, this is fun. It's just I didn't make rapid fire specifically for you.
I was just adding it right now. All right, take the wheels back on this.
You ready? Favorite indicator?
Ooh, MACD.
MACD. I love the MACD too. Look that one up. We're not even going to go there. Most hated indicator?
Most hated VWAP.
Really? Why VWAP?
Yeah, it confuses me. I just, and maybe it's just especially when, I mean, it's important, but it's like, it's, for all of its importance, it's like all of this. Within a certain amount of this, if it's doing this, then crossing is a great thing. If it's this, it's below that. But it's like, oh my God, the parameters around this
understand what it's doing, right? Because it's just like a scoreboard of any particular moment of like the average price of what's come before that day. But at the same time, what the hell do you do with that?
Yeah.
And how it depends on what your approach is, what you're trying to get done, who it's good for, who it's not. I understand.
Because you're not just playing under over. It's like
right. It would be nice if it was that, right?
Yeah.
My favorite is the good bad indicator. I love that one. Yeah. That doesn't exist.
MACD's like open or close. There's people here or not.
Right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. But I drink tea every single night. But I drink way more coffee.
Really? Yeah, I would say tea. Full on tea.
I'm decaf.
I drink a little bit of coffee now because Katie got this coffee job and she's always bringing me coffee stuff. And like, I've never drank coffee in my life.
I drink a pot.
She brings me like decaf, no sugar, no.
I drink a pot of coffee every day, so I now switched to decaf.
Oh yeah.
And the funny part is I can't tell any difference.
Really?
Yeah, I do decaf espresso, and I don't mean just the flavor, but I get these Latin espressos are really good, but I can't tell them any less or more energized.
Trippy. I just love tea.
Maybe the first couple of days I did, I don't know, but yeah. So I switched. So my pre-workout has caffeine in it. I use that for caffeine now because I just realized that there's no way, even if I'm not sensitive to it, that just feeding my system this much caffeine every day is good. So I was like, yeah, let's switch.
Yeah. Here's a fun one: bull or bear? Easy.
All day.
That's right, baby. That's why.
All day.
That's what we're looking for, right? I guess this one we've kind of been through. Best trading lesson. Let's just sum it up in a quick sentence. What's the best trading lesson that you've had or can give?
Start now.
That's a big one. That's good. Yeah, that goes right along with everything.
Yeah, I mean, so like, yeah, I mean, and if it's day trading you're interested in, I would say start now in learning, not start now in trading.
Right.
And if it's just investing, is start now. If you're 9 years old, as far as I'm concerned, get you an Acorn account and put yes.
You don't have to be good at it. You don't need to have a lot of money. You don't need to have any kind of, big experience. But what you do need to do is take that step from being someone who's going, I really want to get into that one day, or I'm going to do that, or when I'm ready, or when I have enough money, or when I this, when I that. We all know people who've done this with music too. It's the same exact story, right? It's just like, just do it.
Yep.
Do today. Make it that when you wake up tomorrow morning, that you're a person who says, I'm an investor.
Yeah.
Right? Even if it's $10.
That's it.
It was $10. I'm an investor. I put $10 into NVIDIA on Robinhood, and you're done. And now you learn more, and you grow out, and you'll see what that money does, and you'll see the changes in it, and you'll become an investor. And you're not going to become an investor thinking and talking about it the same way you never become a musician.
There's no downside, man. There's no downside. Don't listen to people that talk about you lose all your money in the stock market because it's fake. No, you don't. You just hang on and wait for it to come back on the other side.
Yeah, and just be careful. That's all. Just don't do anything dumb. Do the best you can not to do dumb things. But even with dumb things, there are lessons. You learn something, right? Don't put all your money in one basket. But other than that, you're good. Just get involved and start learning.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite company / ticker?
DOCN right now.
DOCN.
For a while.
What
now.
is that?
Ocean is a shit, man. Ocean is It's basically an internet provider type thing. Dude, they've been great.
They're the ones who bought Linode. Is that right?
So.
Yeah.
They have been fantastic to me over the last several months.
Yeah.
Them and Philip Morris. I hate that I sold all my Philip Morris stock.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, my son turned me on to Philip Morris, and I doubled my money on it, and it started going backwards, and I sold because I had this thing. I'm not going to cut anything going down. I'll buy it again as it comes up. You know what I mean? And I cut it, and I bought a little bit back, but not much. But that thing just constantly grows. It's just slowly grows. That Philip Morris is, they've been around forever. But that Zen shit is.
Now what are they doing besides for? They do
Zens.
cigarettes.
It's all about Zens. It's all about Zens. It's all about tobaccoless, or not tobaccoless, but smokeless tobacco stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Zens, those little pouches and all that
Gotcha.
everywhere. All the kids are into that. Everybody's into it. But even all the various smokeless tobacco stuff, they're just on it, and they just built like 2 giant plants just for making Zens last year or two. It's just been a mover, man. They've been around forever. I mean, that's my thing. Look at how many, other than some of those stupid fucking drug companies, what other companies have gotten through more lawsuits and government mandates trying to take them down than the tobacco industry? They figure it out, man. They stay. So, yeah, man, they've been very cool. Even though I'm not holding much now, I haven't really bought into a lot of stuff here recently because I've just been concentrating on day trading, and then with my business being down, I've just been letting things do what they do. But I want to get heavily back into Philip Morris again when things pick up. And Ocean's been awesome, man. Ocean just they've just been killer.
How much is a share of Philip Morris right now, roughly?
$50.
50? No.
Yeah.
And how about Ocean?
Ocean's up to around about the same thing.
Really?
I think I got in when it was 8 or 10 or something.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been good. Or maybe even less than that. Yeah. Off the top of my head, I think Ocean's at around 40 right now. It took some really giant climbs, and now it's been kind of going up and down, but it's still overwhelming green. Yeah.
Right on. Those are good ones. What is your best trading habit?
Consistency. Yeah. This is, like I say, in the last 5 years, I've been extremely consistent and aggressive, and I've only stopped this year as of about 4 months ago. There's caveats to that though. I still invest constantly. I have several different investment things. So I've got my main trading account that I have a broker for that I usually invest weekly into. The last 3 months I haven't been investing into that one. I invest very aggressively and have forever. It's on automatic, and I stopped it because my business has just been slow. It's just like, you know, it's what you gotta do. But I have an Acorns account that I've had for a long time. And I have my Roth IRA in there, and it takes money out every week, so that maximizes that $7,000 a year. I've kept that going. And then my Roundup account, I actually bumped it up because I went down in this one. I bumped this one up a little bit, so I bumped it up like another $100. So yeah, that throws in weekly draws or weekly deposits, and then every time I use my debit card, it rounds up the change, and I multiply that change times 10. So that stays fairly aggressive on a smaller scale. But consistency, man. I literally hate every week that goes by that I know I haven't dropped money in my big account. It makes me like sad.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. On the other hand, other workings, me and a buddy are about to start another business. So one of the reasons I've stopped putting into that is because this other business theoretically would make a better return than the market. So I'm kind of just saving that money up to put into this one.
It's still investing.
But it's still an investing thing. Yeah, so consistency, man. It's just everything, consistency and minimizing. So I have found equal value in not spending. So my ROI is my greatest ROI is changing my spending habits.
Right.
And then that allows me to stay aggressive in investing.
Yeah, sensible.
Yeah.
What's your favorite trading book, if you have one? And if you don't, I'll loan you this one just in case.
This one, without question. So full disclosure, I don't read. I've never really been a reader. I've probably read 4 books my entire life. I got all the way through high school doing the same book report. Not entirely true. Actually, I read one of the biggest books I've ever seen, which was I read Arnold's bodybuilding book front cover to cover. Not many people would say they read that cover to cover.
Mass or something like that? Is that one?
No, the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding.
Oh, right, that big almost.
It's a weird book to read cover to cover, but I read that cover to cover. In my 20s. I just, mine mostly come. I read lots of magazines and articles, and I watch tons of. My 90% of my viewing is YouTube.
Right.
It's just.
I've been seeing a thing lately that like reading is dropping off.
I can believe
They
that.
wonder if we're even going to be reading at all, in a number of years.
I believe it. I don't think that makes writers stop. I think that just probably a lot of that comes because, audiobooks. Like, you know what I mean? I think
there's a lot more media. There's a lot more media now.
Talking it now. Yeah, and man, it's kind of interesting. Like, the world just changes so much, It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like if you get into that weird marriage topic, where like, arguing that, oh my God, back in the good old day, nobody was divorced. It was like, yeah, but back in the good old day, you fucking couldn't divorce. You depended on each other for survival. Like, your nearest neighbor was
more like a business.
3-hour horse ride away. Like,
kind of like
that's what made it work. We both married a long time, and thankful for that. But it's like I completely understand where it doesn't work. Like because, dude, when we were kids, we're in DFW. When I was a kid, we went to Fort Worth for like vacation. Like once every 4 years we went to Fort Worth. Fort Worth's 40 miles away. I go to Fort Worth 3 times a week now just to measure a job that I might not even get for free. Right. It's right there. So everything is just so small world now that and in that there's just so much shit going on. I don't subscribe to the fact that everybody's so busy because that's horseshit. Nobody's as busy as they say they are. Because most of them are killing 6 hours a day on their phone. but that comes into the fact that it's just so easy. I'm a big podcast guy, so I drive a lot for my job, and so it's like I podcast like 12 hours a day. You know what I mean? And not that much, but it's 7 easily.
Right.
But I do, so I do that. So I podcast when I work out. I don't really. It's funny. I listen to music less now than I've ever listened to music.
Right.
Actually, I've never really listened. I listen to a lot of music I find that a lot with musicians, though. It's funny how many musicians I talk to that like don't listen to music, and I think it's just one of those things where like you give your head a break from the music all the time.
Yeah.
And now that I don't play music actively anymore and haven't for 20 years, it's still like one of those things. Like if I'm working on my truck or something or working out in the garage, I'll put on music usually. But if I'm doing like anything else, it's just podcasts are great. It used to be talk radio, now it's podcasts.
I am the same way now.
Yeah.
And it's like, how many of our old friends when they, man, what do you listen to? I'm like, man, and they're like, what?
I know.
And you're like, yeah, dude, like I've done the thing. Like I don't, it's just, it's different. There's nothing against it here and there.
No.
There'll be something on, I'll be like, oh, that's great too.
Oh yeah.
But it's
every
not
time
like I don't reach out to be like, I used to get in the car way back in the day and be like, oh, well, I gotta get this most important thing in my life to get that thing going. And now it's just like, I don't.
Oh yeah.
A little peace and quiet, or I'll put some trading stuff on, listen to guys yak about that.
Yep.
But yeah, it's an odd thing.
I do that a lot. Yeah. The Daily Trapper, or Wednesday Trapper, trading the Trapper. There's a guy named Trapper. I think I told you about him before. I love that dude. He's great.
What's his name?
Keenan Ross. There's I get the Alpha.
What is
Alpha
his name?
Trading
like
podcast?
Stock Trapper or Trading Trapper or something
Stock
like
Trapper, yeah.
I like him.
He's great.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's a really interesting accent.
Stock market looks like us now.
It's
awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, I like it. He's a bright dude.
Yeah, dude, he's a smart guy. He comes off as it anyway. And then listen to what are the trading stuff? Let's see. I get the Alpha. I'm subscribed to this Alpha thing, Alpha Trading, and they send these little 5-minute clips of what's going on in the market, like in the morning and afternoon, breakfast and lunch. That's kind of cool. Listen to those constantly. There's like a couple of Bitcoin things I listen to now and then, just trying to keep my head in that whole thing, because I still think there's something weird there, even though I'm not big in on it and don't really know.
Do you think it's going to blow up the way all the coin heads think it's going to? Like, because we've gone through these 3 waves, and it's kind of set up exactly the same way it was those other 3 times, and they think it's all going to blow and go higher than 125, 130 like it was. You think that's going to happen, or you think it's made up?
I don't know. I mean, this time last year it was supposed to be $300 a coin, or $300. No, $300 or whatever, $3,000, whatever, by the end of this year.
130.
30,000, whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 130 per
Yeah, 130. It was supposed to be 200,000.
They were trying to get to 130.
Yeah.
And they never quite got there, right?
And it was just like, I don't know.
I don't either.
It's that weird thing of crypto loses me, because I understand it. I get the concept of it. But I think the problem is so many people that I don't understand how any of it can ever really become a huge thing. I think there's such a lack of understanding. Like in the stock market, you have these businesses that people understand. It's Charmin, you know what that is. It's GM, you know what that is. It's even when it comes to the tech stuff, you get it because it's in your computer. You see it there. It's on your phone. And I know that like a lot of the crypto stuff isn't actually currencies. It's just the way these tech companies are raising money for their own thing. And so I get that concept of it. But as far as Bitcoin goes, I think it's the only like valid currency one, but I don't know, man. Because I just don't know, dude. I don't understand it enough. I understand completely now what it is. Where I get lost is, I think that just as a currency, I think it continues to be something that will probably go up in value, just because the more it's used, the more people need it. Therefore, the more people use it, the less of it there is, and by nature, is price of gold, right? It goes up on a commodity type situation. But everybody keeps talking about Bitcoin being this thing that everything can be done on as well. Like every time I hear people talk about it getting really, really expensive, it's not in the value of it as an asset, it's the value of it in all these different places it will be implied to. But from what I understand, a lot of these other ones, like even XRP for a while now, but now XRP took too long to get going, so even it's slow compared to other ones. It all becomes into this sort of digital thing, and the speed and availability and the right now of it. But my understanding is all these other ones are so much faster and so much more efficient than Bitcoin. Right. So I don't understand how Bitcoin's going to play into those commercial applications because of that. But I understand how it could come into play more and more and more as a currency, as a what do you call it?
Fiat.
As a fiat, or just in a consumable way. Right. A consumer side. And I think, therefore, I don't think it's anywhere. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Right.
I also think, though, that all these stupid ETFs around it, and all these people buying up so much of it has kind of defeated the purpose of it. So I can see where a lot of people are going to be like, fuck that, because the whole point of it's messed up.
Right.
The whole point of it wasn't that governments would own it all, and 3 guys would own it all. And now that billionaires and governments own fucking all of it, or trying to amass it, I think people are going to lose interest too.
The thing is, I don't understand what drives these huge trends of it.
I don't know.
Like you've got currency in the name, and if you look at all the currencies, I mean, look at Forex, what it's doing any particular day, it does not move the way that Bitcoin moves or any of those things. And and I'm not even, I'm discounting like 90% of those things as nonsense. That it's kind of like what you're saying. It's just kind of ways to help companies out, and what you're doing, and it's not really currency. But the ones that are at the top that are that could possibly be currency and are, it's just, man, who do you know that's buying some stuff with any cryptocurrency?
That's my
other
biggest
than
problem.
Like criminals, like it's used for criminal activity.
My biggest problem with Bitcoin, honestly, and I have a buddy of mine who's a Bitcoiner, and my biggest problem with it is that if you take 100 people I know, 98 of them know of Bitcoin as a way to possibly make money.
Right.
That's not using Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's not being used, it doesn't have any value. So if everybody's just buying it to increase their own personal wealth, that's not going to work. It's only going to work so much for so long. And it also seems to me that what drove that price up was Sailor and all these cats accumulating it like crazy.
Right.
And then people are like, oh, these motherfuckers are buying like that, then fuck, we're going to fucking buy it. We're going to jump on. And then, as your short had earlier, now you have an overbuying situation, and you're falsely inflating that. And then once those dudes have kind of accumulated all they can accumulate, because the rest of it's all being held on, that shit just starts falling off. And it's still not being circulated. I mean, there used to be Bitcoin ATMs now. Now they all got cobwebs on them in the corner gas stations. So it's like, if people aren't using it, I don't really understand what's the intrinsic value is. And that's where I get lost in it. So I've got a little bit over here. I do my fold card and my sats. I'm stacking them and stuff. No loss here nor there. I don't know.
Yeah, I would play a little bit for fun.
Yeah.
And it's not really anything besides, hey, you know what? If this turns into 100 times that, great. And if it doesn't,
I think I'm just too old to understand it. Maybe I don't know.
I mean, you see a lot of the guys that that we follow online. Like we talked about Keenan Grace, and he hangs around with that whole group of high dollar dudes, and they're all like,
and Bo and all them are all
and he's like, oh, I'm buying this many millions this week, and you're like, because it's doing this, and my main thing is, well, I don't really see any real good reason other than it's done it before.
That's the part.
And then you're basing, like, I personally can't see anything more than sentiment. Like, there's just no, what is the value? What is this bringing? What has changed that's making this go up and down in these crazy ways? It's purely just sentiment based off of what some people said and did with the thing itself. And it's this self-referential nonsense that I just don't feel any particular draw to. It's like, everything has its problems, but at least we're investing in like companies. Even if they drop down, they still have value. When it comes down, if I have stock in Robinhood, it's still Robinhood that has great financials, and I can sit back and go, man, they're a good company. It's going to come back. But if Bitcoin tanks and goes down to $3,000 a Bitcoin, or worse, like it was in the old days when we could buy $5 for $5, you took 5 of them to buy a pizza. If you could get somebody to take it, like what happens then? Like what's going to make it come back to that $100,000 that you spent for a coin?
That's my other thing on it, and the other part that gets me on it is fuck, I just completely lost my train of thought. Shit. It just like that 50 does.
And see, and that's what
50 does too.
And that's exactly what can happen to your Bitcoin. Fuck. It could do that. And then one can even tell you why.
Whatever.
Anyway, Bitcoin is frightening to me.
Yeah.
I find it amusing. I find it interesting.
Yeah.
I know a decent amount about it because of the technical aspects of it and what they were originally trying to do. I find that all interesting and honorable and cool. But I also, there's, you couple that with the massive waste of electricity and hardware and this endless chase to get hardware to do this thing that's a nothing thing.
Yeah, but that's not going to be a thing once that's been mined, right? I mean, it's getting close to being all
Well,
found.
and
Like,
once
at that point,
again,
goes
it
down,
depends
right?
on what. Well, it still has to be everywhere to track the ledger.
Yeah, no, but that doesn't take unfounded amounts of energy, doesn't it? Isn't it the mining that's draining all that?
I don't really know how the ledger will change when, like right now, those are kind of coupled together. So I don't really know enough to know how keeping the ledger will change anything as far as the way that's all handled. And I don't know how much is left to be mined at this point. And then the other thing is that we have those few other coins that they all work a little bit differently, and so it's just it's a lot of waste.
I find the theoretical ideology behind Bitcoin to be fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And real and cool,
Yeah.
and something that could intrinsically be beneficial to the world.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think there's near enough people who understand what that means for it to have a true value long-standing.
Right.
I think it'll peter out before it gets there.
Right.
You know,
And that's the thing, the prices that it's been driven to, I do not feel like that's come from people who understand it.
yeah. No, that's
if
what I
you
mean.
did,
I
you'd be
think it's-
scared to put that much
Yeah,
money
because
into it.
everyone I knew who bought a bunch of because the value was going to go up, not because they were going to buy a car with it.
Right.
Like they don't even understand that concept.
And the question
It's
is
just
why? And I
so-
understand it's done it 3
Yeah.
times, but why? Why?
That's the
purely-
thing. Like I get that history repeats itself, but it doesn't repeat itself exactly,
Right.
and it only repeats itself within the parameters of what the current state of the world is.
Right.
So as those keep changing, how does predictability on history, like, you know what I mean? Like everyone who tries to judge the market, for instance, on history, they're like, "Go back in history, it happened this, but over here it did this, and over here it did that." It's okay. Which history are we gonna
Right.
put all our? Are you gonna put everything in? Like, I don't know. I'm weird about using history as
It's
a gauge
well,
when
it's
it comes
not
to
100%
metrics.
dependable. I mean, you look
course
at this book, right? This book is full of old things. It was released, I believe, in 91, I think. But it's just like, he's talking about, like, don't you dare buy anything with a PE over 30.
Right.
And you're like, well, then what are you going to buy today?
Yeah.
what are you going to make money with
Yeah,
now?
right.
So it's like there's things like that where you're like, I respect, I appreciate the history,
Sure.
but you got to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
And you have to look at what's happened since then as well, and that's all important. And it's a different market than what he dealt with, and it's so that's basically, we've got to look at all those things when we're dealing with things like crypto, and it's I just find it a little frightening. I think there's just so much money in that it's just like, in what?
Yeah.
Like it's a computer program with a database. That is literally what it is. It's a computer program with a database, and that database, you're paying money to have records in that database, and that costs $130. Not anymore, but when they have, what are they, 60,000 for a record in that database that says that you have one. You're like, what?
Yeah.
But why? What are you going to do with that record in that database ultimately? Like, what's that going to get you? Is that just literally going to be a record in a database 10 years from now, or is that going to be something that's worth, $400 grand?
Right.
Like, it's just, we have no way of knowing, and it all depends on what people buy into, right? It's just like, it's a crazy thing, but it makes me nervous. I can't put any real money into that. I can't. there's nothing has happened that has made me believe that I want to put a lot of money into it at this point. I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. Do your research.
Shit.
Don't believe me.
Yeah.
Go do your own research. So that's another thing. That's probably number 3 of things that I would say today, right? Do your own research. Don't listen to anybody, not even us.
Nah.
Just go do your own research and figure things out for yourself, and and construct your own beliefs about all this stuff. Anyway, moving on. That was the end of the beginner quiz part of Bullbusters. The last part of Bullbusters, believe it or not, we are closing in the end of this list, is Mythbusters.
Okay.
True or false?
Okay.
Ready? Buying a stock under $10 is cheaper.
Buying a stock under $10 is cheaper.
Yeah, it's kind of a trick question.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, kind of, except for they don't tend to move as much, so your return on them is slower and lower, and
The thing is, you buy.
so it's hard to tell. You can get more of it.
If you're
but
gonna,
more of it doesn't
I
mean
was
it's
gonna
worth
say,
more.
If you're going to invest $300 in a stock, you've gotten more shares of a stock,
Yes.
but you haven't gotten necessarily a thing that's going to grow more.
Right. Well, a 10% move on 300 is way more than a 10% move on 30. You know what I mean? It's getting something to move 10% is a lot.
Right, and also depending how much you've got in it, right? So there's so many factors that it's kind of a nonsensical trick question just for fun.
Yeah.
So don't pay too much attention to it. Overbought means sell immediately.
Overbought means sell immediately. Overbought means sell immediately. Overbought means sell immediately. Yeah, right? Because it's artificially inflated. Or not artificially, but it's overinflated because of hype.
I think it depends on your
Theoretically, it's
thesis of the
it's on its
stock.
way back down. It's the point where shorts come in and start,
I wouldn't. I would say it completely depends on your
Of course,
thesis
well,
of that
yes,
stock.
yes,
So
yes.
if it's something that you're like, it's because
But overbought means theoretically it's going to level out.
it means it's really hot.
And your shorts
It
are
means
definitely
the
gonna come
momentum is really fucking crazy, and I don't. It doesn't mean that it's out of its fundamental range for what it is. It just means that it's like people have gone nuts with it.
Yeah, but man, one thing that I've learned is these things always level off. So any big push is going to have a correction.
Right.
So if you're at the top end of an overbuy somewhere,
Right.
that shit's short.
See, but if
start
you were-
selling, people are going to start selling. It's going to calm down a little bit.
If you were Google in 1999,
Right.
and it's about to split.
Yeah.
If you hung on,
Yeah.
you would have stupid money now.
True.
So it's like, it depends on your thesis of the stock.
Back to fundamentals and time.
Yeah. And it depends on everything, right? So once again, it's another trick question. It's really just for fun. You have to be rich to invest.
No.
Not at all. I think we've been through that enough, right? And this one is a weird one. Every gap gets filled.
Oh, man. I keep hearing this over and over
me
and
too.
over. As a matter of fact, my financial advisor pulled that one day. We were there.
She
goes,
said
"Look,
she believes
this
that.
gap
Like
here,
that's-
this gaps is going to get filled.
And does it wind up like being true essentially?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time somebody points it out, but I can't get my head around it.
It just doesn't. It's like, why?
I know.
Why does it have to do
I
that?
don't-
Why can't it just continue on doing its thing? Why does it have to come back and like retrace its steps?
I don't. At that part, I don't understand. I also can't. Okay. Here's my other problem with historical analysis: is I think you can find things to point to what you're trying to explain.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there's a lot of gaps in there that don't get filled if you go back and look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can find the ones that did, and it supports your argument.
Right.
I think there's some. What do they call that? There's some kind of bias there.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it.
I know something about that.
Yeah. I think there's some of that there, but I don't know.
Do you know? This is completely off topic and just really interesting. With doing like back testing and all that business, you ever hear of survivorship bias? So the thing is like people do all this crazy back testing, right? But like a ton of the data that you do back testing on has
Confirmation bias. Sorry.
that's it. Has had all the companies that failed have been removed.
Oh, okay. Right.
So, but that makes it that's your survivorship bias
Right.
in anything
Sure.
that you're doing with back testing
Interesting.
is a very, very real thing. Like, which is something that if you're doing any kind of, the quant trading part of
Right.
this, you have to be aware that that's a thing that like you can validate things that just a huge chunk of what would have cost you money and you would have failed on is gone because only the survivors are there. So it passes through your whatever it is that you're trying to do, and everything works.
Yeah.
Because it's all the survivors that and I've only recently in the past few months come across this, and it's like the huge majority of data sets are like that.
Yeah.
They don't. Those things have been eradicated. All those companies that just dissipated and went away, they're just gone. So it's like you have to be aware of this when you're doing any of that kind of backtesting stuff. And I find that really interesting and troubling. Like there should just be, I feel like everybody should have two databases, right?
Right.
There should be the one that has that and the one that still has all that stuff still in there.
It's the problem with data crunching. I spend a lot of my days, like a lot of my time of research or learning, whatever you want to call it, in fitness and longevity stuff and health stuff. And oh my God, like that, what you just said right there is off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, and the problem is people are making so much money off this shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, whatever it is, whether it's cold plunging is going to deplete it, and then you're like, yeah, but what about all these over here that said it doesn't do a whole lot, and what about these? Yeah, but this one right here says it's fucking awesome.
And it's the loudest one.
Okay, yeah, like that's all day long, dude. It's
Right.
just like, oh my God. So yeah, I think anytime you get data crunching, that's the unfortunate part of data. And that's the reality, right? That's that whole thing where I said like historical analysis. It's the same part. It's like, yeah, you can look back to history and you can find any event to support it.
Right.
Because the fact is everything's already been done, right? It's kind of like talking about songwriting and trying to like, everybody wanted to make this super original song. And then as soon as you thought you made this super original song with this super original chord progression, this super original topic, and this super original rhyme scheme, some dude walks in that's a friend of so-and-so and says, hey man, it sounds like Arlo Guthrie. And you're like, oh, who the fuck's Arlo Guthrie?
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, yeah, it's been done. Like, you know, there's only so many chords, there's only so many notes, there's only so many fucking ideas in the world, and we only live so many experiences.
Right.
So if you go back, you can find data to support just about anything you want to
Right.
say. You know what I mean? And you got to find those guys that are willing to jump in and take all of it and step back and go, okay, here's this. And
Right.
you know, now you got to wonder, like, okay, well, what are they trying to do? They're trying to sell you a product they came up with, and that doesn't really behoove them. So they're going, Christ, take this. And this guy wants to do it because he's going to argue and get more clicks for it. And it's like, eh.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know. But at the end of that means that I know there's value in data, I know there's value in analysis. That's where, when I was trying to find a strategy, that was, I think, the biggest part I was looking for, was whose data analysis seemed to make most sense to me. And that's where the two guys I found I really liked, and one I went with, and one I would like to get back to at some point, who I know you went with, were Keenan and Ross. All of them I found, man, those two guys seem to have crunched the data to sort of fall in line with the strategy they found, and that actually seemed to have put together the strategy they found, as opposed to, this thing seems to work, how many examples can I find to support it? Right. It's like, no, we're doing this, and we're doing it for like 20 years, and we're tweaking it as we go to get here.
Right.
And I think that, and you know, both of those guys, a lot of the data they brought into it wasn't just the data that Webull gives you over all this stuff. It was literally the data on their own trader view of their trades. And they were looking at those analytics and going, what worked and what didn't, and why the fuck was that? And so that's what drew me into those guys. You know, Ross especially, that's kind of what ended up me going, okay, I'll give you this money to learn your system, because it was really the way they were at lots of data to come up with their strategy and support it, and how much of that data was their own habits and their own failures and losses, and then tweaking that into something that was still working within that strategy to tweak the strategy. I think that's what ended up really landing me most, because there was a lot of dudes that just seemed to be like really picking and choosing shit that kind of supported their bias, and it was just like, man, well, fuck that.
See a lot of that out there,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway.
Right. Well, we're closing on the end of this, man. So, what's one thing every new trader, and this is kind of like your send-off for the baby bulls out there, what's the one thing every new trader should understand before they risk real money?
Learn why people fail first and foremost. More than anything.
Yeah.
Dude, it's not about winning. This is not about winning. Dude, day trading is not about winning.
Right.
Day trading is figuring out how the fuck to minimize your losses.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right, depends on how you define winning.
That's what it is.
It's not winning every trade.
And I know that
that's,
you know, the real answer to that is paper trade and practice. But paper trading and practicing doesn't even work if you can't learn why people fail. If you can't implement how to limit your losses in paper trade, it won't matter.
Right.
And if you go in there with the idea that I'm going to win, even your paper trading practice is completely fucked up, because you're not going to pay enough attention to the losses. You're only going to fuss with those wins. And so to me, that is the answer.
Yeah.
And to me, you know, as someone who's not successful yet, I really think the reason I'm not successful is because I haven't been able yet to overcome those self-control issues that lead to the losses. I really think that's what it is. I think I understand the strategy enough. I think I understand the momentum idea, the strategy I'm following. I don't know all of it. I haven't finished the curriculum. There's still so much to know and learn and master and practice and yada, yada, yada. Understanding chart patterns and all that stuff that I know there's legitimacy to, because you can live trade and he'll be talking through it. Okay, this is happening, this is why. And I swear to fucking God, he can predict the future. It's weird. With a certain percentage, you know, a high percentage. So I know it's all legit, and I don't know it all yet, but I know enough of it that I can pick out, you know, cup and handles, and you know, make sense of topping tails, and you know, make sense of hammers and all that kind of stuff. Like I can read and understand the glossary of charts enough to really kind of get it, and I'll pick my own, you know, sometimes, and they're good and bad. And I understand why I'm picking them, but it's that playing. It's playing the move that's the problem. And that playing the move is all about the self-control. And that self-control is why people lose, and not mastering that self-control, I think, is everyone's problem. I mean, as a beginner who's realizing, okay, this is always where the issue is. Always where the issue is. You know what I mean? Because if you can minimize the loss to a super bare minimum, you could lose 300 times and have one good win and be killer.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't really work out in the ratio of win to loss, but it kind of does.
Right.
If you minimize enough, it does. You know, you get one $3 run, you minimize 100 losses to 2 cents, you're winning. You know what I mean? It's like, that's an extreme reality.
No, in that book, that whole thing, I'm laying out that you're going to win 4 out of 10 times with what we're doing here. And but the magic is in the overall strategy itself of how you plot that out and plan for losses and plan for wins. And it's going to happen. Like, you have to. And I think that, you know, the best of the best, we've both seen them at work, and they lose. And it has to be part of your strategy. It has to be part of your overall philosophy that you're going to lose sometimes. And if it's not, you're kidding yourself and you're going to fail, and it's going to be dumb, and you can't. You have to, you know, that has to be an expected part of it. Like, you know, losing a trade doesn't mean you've lost. Losing is when you lose all your money and you have no more left to trade with.
Yeah, and I don't know what quadrant or lobe of your brain works over the other one, but somehow you got to learn to really build that one up where it's stronger than that one that says stay in here. You know, you got to really build up that pragmatic side of your brain to overcome that gambling side of your brain, because that hopeful shit is done. There is no manifesting. There's no manifesting in this shit. This shit will squash your manifesting dreams real fast.
That's funny.
You will not manifest anything in the market.
That is absolutely fantastic advice for anyone who might be watching this. So
I got a piece of advice to leave on.
What's that?
That has nothing to do with trading, but it has to do with what I said earlier about getting money to invest and trade with. This is my big thing. This is like my biggest thing that I have in life. And I tell everybody I run into who, I don't know, if however we get into a money conversation, I like to bring it up, and that is that I'm not going to preach a minimalist lifestyle, because I realize most people care nothing about that. But there's 3 things. It equates to, I guess, 4 items that have been my biggest ROI that can absolutely not be argued with. And this is kind of going into a little bit of a health tangent, I guess, in a way. But it's just such frugal spending that people don't. My 17-year-old, it just clicked with him, because like his allowance and his little bit of money from work is just like gone in no time. And he's finally realizing, like I told him, I said, dude, just eat here before you leave, eat here before you leave, eat here before you leave. And he's like, got money in his pocket. He's like, holy shit, it is all like going and eating. I bought a $50 stainless steel gallon water jug on Amazon 4 years ago. And I have not bought a bottle of water. Guaranteed I haven't bought a bottle of water in 2 years. Probably more like 3. I fill it up every day. I fill it up at the gym. They have filtered water in the fountain, and I fill it up in there and get a free gallon of water every day. I used to stop the little machine and spend 30 cents for the gallon. I used to buy 2 1.5-liter bottles every single day, Monday through Friday at work.
Oh, shit,
and those were $4 a pop.
Right.
So that's $8 a day on water. So do that math. That's a couple of $1,000s a year that I traded for $50. And I'm not throwing away plastic water bottles every day. So my landfill thing has gone to fuck recycling. They just like, they don't recycle them anyway. So that's gone. So the feel good on that is awesome. And the money's crazy. So $50 to about $2,000 to $3,000 a year. My next one was my coffee. So I used to drink, I'd make a pot of coffee at home, and I would fill my to-go cup up with it. And then inevitably, I'm driving out of the truck all the time. Inevitably, I would usually stop and buy at least 1 more cup of coffee, usually 2. I would drink coffee kind of all morning. Well, fuck, that was anywhere from $7 to $10. And I don't do candy bar stuff, but I do just coffee, you know, just $3.50 at 7-Eleven. So that was a minimum of another $6 to $8 a day. Now I bought a $15 stainless steel coffee tumbler, whatever you call those things. And then I bought another thermos that's bigger. So now I finally one day was like, you dumbass, you're throwing away 2/3 of a pot of coffee every morning.
So now I fill up my one I'm drinking out of. I take the rest of the pot, put it in the thermos, throw it in my seat, and I fill that cup up 3 times through the day. And that cost me $8 a week for my coffee. So now, instead of spending the coffee at home plus the $7 a day, we're somewhere around $15, $20 a week on coffee. No, more than that. Was it $50 or something like that? $50, $60 a week, gone. Done that for 3 years now. I haven't bought a single cup of coffee. So now I'm not throwing away coffee cups, and that was $15 for that mug, and that thermos I think was $20. So that $35 is saving about another $1,500 to $2,000 a year. And then the other thing I did was I bought me an Igloo, a $30 old school Igloo ice chest, and every day. You know, I know people don't like to cook, but I plan my food. I put it all in there. I'm in the road all day, and everything I put in is in that. So not only has my health gone through the roof eating like that because it's already prepared and I have it and I have control of it, but I no longer stop it. If I go to a gas station, I literally pay at the pump. There's no reason to go in because I've already got water in the truck. I've already got food in the truck. I've already got snacks in the truck that I made at home. And so that $4.50 bottle of water was probably usually $7, $8 by the time you threw in a bag of chips or a protein bar or something. That's all gone. And you know, I eat 3,000 calories a day, all clean, for $22 a day. So about the same amount as most people spend at lunch and a drop-through. Yeah. So combine all that together, and I've cut my yearly cost just for my individual self by probably $8,000 to $9,000 a year.
Right. And that's a substantial.
And that's less than $100 worth of it.
That'll cover your Roth.
Yeah, that's where it all goes. Yeah, without question. So I've had people ask me, "What's your biggest return on investment?" They're expecting some stock thing, and I'm like, thermos in my cooler.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thermos in my cooler, like it consistently makes me at least $8,000 a year.
Right.
Like so that's kind of those little things, you know, and multiply those by other things in your life. But those things are like they'll change everything. They'll change the way you feel, the way you live, and by God, it'll change your bank account.
Right.
You know, so.
That's a good one. That's helpful. Yeah, and for the young kids, like even just the starter kit is just like stop buying drinks.
Oh, dude.
Like just if you have to go eat, just don't buy the drinks. Just either bring one or just drink water or whatever it is. But like, you know, it's like we have a family of 4. It's like all of a sudden you add another $14 to that bill, dude, because of, you know.
So this water, I mix my shake in here during the day, and then all day I pour my water in this and just drink my water out of this all day. Every once in a while, I like to get like a Coke Zero. I also haven't bought those in a couple of years because I'll go into a racetrack or whatever gas station, and I take this in there, and I go to the fountain and fill it up. Half the time, they won't charge me for it. I'll go refill, and they're like, "Ah, just go on." The other times they do, I don't think I've ever paid more than $1 to get 24 ounces of Coke Zero. So no plastic bottle to throw away, and Coke Zero is $3.50 now? $3, something like that? I think at 20 ounces, $3. So I get more on ice for $1 or less. Right. So that's the other thing. It's just like, yeah, man, it's all the way around. And it's always with me. It's always in my truck. So I just walk in, fill it up. Half the time they give it to me for free. Even my coffee, randomly, I've gone there with my tumbler and filled up with coffee. And I was like, "Did you refill?" Yeah, I mean, even in little small little places, it's funny. It's just so simple little things that just, man, they add up. I know.
Well, that's the thing. That's, you know, just start. Start. You start somewhere and get the habit and the feel goods from just one little change, and that will just, you know, it's like anything. It'll branch out into more 100% as you feel
100%. So 100%.
Well, rock and roll, Jeramie. Thank you for your time,
dude. For sure.
Thank you for all your wisdom.
Sorry, I talked so much.
Seeing you. No, that's what we're here for, man.
Nothing's changed since the day you met me.
Right. We've always been able to talk. That's for sure. That's one of the reasons why you're one of the first people. That's what we needed here. So, Jeramie, I'm going to take your bull back from you. Thank you for your time. It's good having you, man.
Heck yeah,
You'll be back. And
do it again for sure.
Next time we'll update everybody and tell them how.
And I was green this morning.
On money, huh?
I was green this morning.
You what?
I was green this morning.
I was green this morning too.
That's awesome.
I hope you're green as well.
Hell yeah.
So
stay green.
Stay green. That's all right. Thanks for hanging out with us. And remember, there's no dumb questions here. Only expensive ones.
For real.
I'll see you guys next time.
Cool.
Feeling nervous, feeling cute. Baby book club, yeah. Baby book club, yeah. Baby book club, yeah. Baby Book Club, yeah.